launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
Welcome into a Monday edition of the JP Peterson Show. Hope you guys had a great weekend. It's our last weekend without NFL football. Well, training camp, obviously. We are on. Rays rookies have reported, and away we go. Great to be back with you here this morning. We got a lot to get to from it's a pretty depressing weekend of Rays baseball.
I got to cut you off real quick.
Go ahead.
Because you said the Rays rookies have reported.
Sorry, the Bucks rookies.
They have not reported to the field of play, I don't think.
I think they're filing in, getting all their physicals done and all that silly stuff. Yeah. You know, this is where the bathroom is. This is where you shower.
No, I mean, like, literally, you said the Rays rookies.
Oh, I get it.
And you know where I'm going.
I get
now,
where you're
right?
going. Yes. Yeah, because there were some bizarre things happening this weekend. To be completely honest, I'm still kind of a little summer vacation mode, and like this week is jumping back into everything in full force. So I didn't watch a lot of baseball, but catching up with it this morning, I'm just like, and you're bringing up some things to me in the lineups and everything. I'm like, what the F is going on here? And I saw some stuff on Twitter over the weekend. You know, sometimes you just gotta unplug. Do you ever do that?
I did. I did not tweet a single thing this weekend.
Really?
Hardly was on Twitter this weekend.
How do you feel?
I feel very good. Very refreshed.
Yeah.
And I went outside.
Yeah. Makes a difference, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Yeah. Yeah, we get into today might be the day for that, for some philosophical talks on screen time and everything else. Because I unplugged dramatically this weekend, stayed off Twitter for the most part. You know, I got to check in every once in a while just to see what's happening, but not going at it with anybody, not doing any of that, not going back and forth, just kind of take a deep breath. But as we talked this morning, it's like it's kind of bizarre what's going on with the Rays in a lot of different ways. And we'll get into that, some of the lineup choices and things that are happening with the Rays. And I got the most bizarre direct message this weekend, and I've been kind of like wrestling with sharing it with people here because I don't want to get anybody in trouble. But I also kind of, this whole stadium saga that's going on now, there's been some bizarre things happening. We talked about it last week, and the TSA and the Rays are scheduled to meet this week, and this could be a very interesting meeting going on. So we'll get into it a little bit later on in the show, but that's just a little tease. We'll be talking about Bucks as well. And my today kind of goes along the line of what Rick Stroud wrote about today. He did the tens at the top position, but we have been very, very positive about this Buccaneers team. So I decided to do a little mental exercise this morning. And a lot of you may not like this because I know a lot of you are superstitious out there. But I kind of was looking at some worst case scenario situations and what might happen to the Buccaneers. Like you go back and what happened to Ravens last year, that team was very, very excited about the upcoming season and Lamar Jackson growing into his role, blah, 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 blah. And they just got absolutely devastated by key injuries. And I don't care who you are, what GM you are, with the roster limitations and salary cap, when you get hit by that many injuries, you got no shot. You got zero shot. And, could that happen to the Bucs in this year? Well, when you have older players, they're more susceptible to injuries. There's no question about that. So we're going to do a little exercise in that because I am very hopeful for this team. There's no doubt about it. I think this is, on paper, one of the best teams the Bucs have ever had. But as with all things in the NFL, things can change really, really quickly with a couple of key injuries. And the way the Bucs are going into this season is you can look at it in a very dubious way. So we'll do that little mental exercise with you. I'm sure you're all looking forward to that, but I'm trying to be realistic here. A couple other stories we got to get to. I saw two movies over the weekend that I really want to talk about. I saw Thor, and we made the really bad decision to take the kids to that one. I didn't realize it wasn't a kid-focused movie. Maybe that's my fault. And then I saw Nope. Jordan Peele's Nope. Whew. Wow. I'm still thinking about that movie. Like, that movie will stay in your head for like weeks on end. So, and we'll get into a couple other national stories that are going on there. So, but we want to start with the Rays and what went on this weekend. And I ask you, Mr. Baseball expert, can you please explain to me what some of these lineup decisions were all about this weekend? And I'm okay. Let's just put it out. This is nothing personal to Yu Chang or the great Mighty Quinn. Who are these guys? Who the hell are these guys? I've been actually a couple nice plays this week, and you got a bunt, it's a triple, but they lose 2 out of 3 to the freaking Royals. Are you kidding me? And 5 hits yesterday, 5 hits against a bunch of bums. What? And you go ahead and off on your diatribe about this lineup he put out there yesterday, or I'm sorry, the analytics guys put out yesterday.
Well, I'll give you the answer to why the Rays do these lineups.
Because they're cheap.
Because.
Sorry.
There's
I can't accept that answer.
Well, you may not want to accept it, but that's the only answer I have for you. I can't make a single reasonable explanation for what that lineup was yesterday. You just had a week off just about from the All-Star break, right?
Yeah.
You're playing some of your best baseball all year with a plethora of injuries, which I'm cutting you some slack on that. You have other teams sliding around you in the like the Mariners are starting to cool off now. They just got swept. The Red Sox are a disaster.
They are.
The Orioles have
27 they gave up the other night?
Yeah. They're a disaster. So now things are in Toronto's heating up, whatever. You're kind of fighting. You just lost your playoff spot, by the way, to Toronto. They're now the first wild card. You're the second. And you're fighting to stay alive. My point with all that is every series matters at this point. There's no time for needless resting.
Yeah.
And especially when you had a week off. Yesterday, I understand you're facing a lefty, but you're not facing one of the best lefties in the game.
No.
You're facing a guy with like a 5.56 ERA, I believe it is.
Yeah.
This isn't, Chris Sale in his prime that you're facing.
No.
This isn't Randy Johnson.
No.
This is just a guy. And you have, at this point, the way I see it, you have 4 hitters that can be relied upon on a day-to-day basis. Yandy Diaz, Brandon Lau, Randy Arozarena, and G-Man Choi.
Mm-hmm.
And yesterday, no G-Man Choi and no Brandon Lau. And you could say, oh, well, they're lefties matchups. Do you know who the 3-hole hitter was yesterday for the Rays?
Luke Raley?
Luke Raley. Do you know
what's his credentials?
He's the most minimum at bats made, which he has.
Right.
He is statistically the worst hitter to ever bat third in a major league lineup in history.
The worst.
The worst.
And
he didn't do it just yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
He did it on Saturday as well.
Yes.
And yesterday he played first base in place of G-Man Choi, who couldn't be in the lineup because lefty. Luke Raley.
Has he played a lot of first base?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
And Luke Raley also hits lefty.
Yeah.
So I need someone to enlighten me. If somebody's got an answer out there, tell me why we had Luke Raley in the lineup back-to-back games and G-Man Choi had to sit.
Yeah.
Brandon Lau had to sit when you have 4 competent bats. And yesterday the Rays got 5 hits. Do you know who had 4 of them? Yandy Diaz and Randy Arozarena.
Yeah.
The 2 competent guys who were in the
major
lineup
league
yesterday.
players. The 2 major league players we had in there.
Yeah.
And what is this? A couple of guys I understand at AAA who've actually been up. Jonathan Aranda. You want to? Would you like to give us his stat line? I think our
Jonathan Aranda.
Yeah,
14 home runs, 61 RBIs, hitting .330 with a 957 OPS.
Oh, okay.
Jonathan Aranda. He's statistically one of the best players across all of minor league baseball this year.
And he came up in the bigs, and when he was up here, his numbers. And by the way, his numbers were not bad. But his contact numbers were off the charts.
He hit like 8 balls, I think, of 95 miles an hour off the bat or more.
Yeah.
He hits the ball hard.
Yeah. What are we doing? What are we doing? Are we purposely trying to lose games?
It comes off like that.
It does. It's so major
like
league.
That. You don't give yourself a chance to win.
Yes. When
you put a lineup like that yesterday. Let me just jog you through this lineup yesterday. Socrates, who's cooled off considerably, hitting .216.
Yeah.
Luke Raley hitting .080. Josh Lowe hitting .196. Yu Chang, 173. Taylor Walls, 175. Roman Quinn, 190. Brett Phillips pinch hit for him, 149. That's the Rays lineup yesterday.
Wow. And I keep saying, like, how in God's name Are we 10 games over 500 still?
I have no idea.
I mean, it's just unbelievable. But I mean, like those are situations and lineups that I mean, I saw people on Twitter questioning why is the manager questioned about this?
I don't think he really has an answer for you.
Can we listen to the post game yesterday?
We'll listen to the post game.
Were there questions about these lineup decisions? I mean, I'm sorry. I know Kevin Cash. He played in the major leagues. He's the 2-time AL Manager of the Year. There ain't no effing way in the world that he made that lineup. No way. No way.
But I'd like to speak to whoever made the lineup.
Well, first of all, he's got to answer for those decisions.
Yes, he does. But if whoever made the lineup, I would like to know the question. Do you really think you had a chance to win with that lineup?
And
that's
there's
the simple question I need.
Why is Aranda not up here?
It has to do with the fact that the positions he plays happens to be occupied by G-Man Choi and Yandy and Brandon Lau, who are 3 of our 4 competent hitters.
Yeah, but we're putting Luke Raley at first base. So you're saying he can't play out of position?
I mean, we do it with everybody.
We do it with
Ramirez
everybody else.
First
Exactly.
Base.
Put him at first base, for God's sakes. We put everybody else over there.
I mean, can he not?
Can you catch a baseball? Play first base.
Can't play DH. We can't just platoon. Like, I don't know. It just, to me, it's like the Rays are intentionally keeping some of their better hitters in the minors.
Especially
right
when
now.
you keep them in the minors. You're like, okay, this is a service time thing. What are we doing?
I get that with probably Xavier Edwards.
Right.
Okay.
But even that guy.
Not Aranda.
Yeah, but when you're so short, I mean, I'm sorry. Yu Chang, Robert Quinn.
These are guys that nobody wanted.
Now, of course, nobody wants them because they suck. And you got guys that are part of your team that you're developing, that you're keeping down there. Why? Why are you doing that?
When you're in the middle of a playoff race,
yes,
and you need to win ball games, and you can't afford to just take this. Is now, how many games was that against the Reds? That was a 3-game, right?
Yeah.
You've lost 5 out of 6 to the Reds and the Royals,
and now you're 52 and 43. Weeks. Sorry,
and Toronto is red hot, has just passed you up, and I promise you, they'll probably end up leaving the Rays in the dust now because they're starting to get going.
Yeah.
So now you're fighting again to keep alive. And at this point, I know the trade deadline, we still got a week to go. Well, I shouldn't say still a week because we're a week away.
Right.
This is the week where something's going to happen. If anything happens, I'm almost insulted at this point if the Rays don't do something. You have all this prospects. You're still the number 1 system in the minor leagues. All I hear all the time is how the Rays feel like they have everything they need in place to get any player they want. I'm not talking about Juan Soto, who, although the GM execs, they did like a poll. Some of the GMs think the Rays are actually a player in this. And, obviously they're plugged in.
Right.
But I'm just going to be honest, it's probably not realistic. But there's other players out there for the Rays. And if you really feel like that's the case, and, I said, is this team worth going after it? In my opinion, because of where you are in the standings, I feel like you have to go after it. You owe that to the team. I'm almost insulted at this point that you're going to put lineups like this out and not go get major league talent.
Right.
Not guys who were picked up off waivers that nobody wanted, not backup catchers like Christian Bethancourt. I don't want those guys right now. You can have them and you can plug them wherever you want. I need major league players who can actually hit in general for this team.
Yeah, that would be nice. But even if you've got guys at AAA that are obviously better,
get them up here.
Aranda, that situation is ridiculous. I mean, come on. By the way, Yandy Diaz plays first base, does he not? He can play first base.
Play first base.
Yeah, he could play first base. He plays everywhere. You can find spots for him.
You
especially
find a spot for your best players.
If you can't hit, if that's your issue right now, and you got guys that can, you find spots for them. At least that's what the Rays have been able to do. And it's not like they're terrible. They'll be worse defensively in those situations, markedly, especially at first base. I mean,
can it really get any worse than it's been defensively?
No,
like honestly,
no. And Taylor Walls yesterday, I know he's a good defensive player and he's still finding his way, but you don't cut in front of a guy that's about to make a play. I mean, that was a disaster, led to another run.
Yeah, I don't really want to. I understand it, but I mean, he made his fair share of really good plays yesterday.
He did,
and I think he feels like kind of how Kevin Kiermaier does. Like if it's in his vicinity, he wants to be the guy to go after it because he believes in his ability. So I don't necessarily hate that as much with Taylor Walls, but surely with the fact that I'm more concerned about him hitting 170 and not really doing much for me at that standpoint than anything.
Yeah, that's an issue. Well, let's listen to the post game and let's hear the burning questions for this, which I don't think many are about the lineup, but I don't know. We'll see.
Kevin, I guess 14 hits for Kansas City. Obviously, they broke there with Brooks. And what did you see there today, and what do you chalk this one up to?
Just kind of a frustrating game. Look, we didn't hit. We didn't defend as well as we could. I was glad to have Springsy back. I thought he competed really well. The Royals put together some good at-bats, but he still limited the damage with all those sets. Rayleigh, he threw the ball really well. We should have had an out leading up to that Dozier at bat. We didn't, and they found a way to capitalize on our opportunities that we didn't make plays on.
You mentioned you should have had an out. Taylor Walls, did it just kind of deflect there? I mean, what did you see?
Which play?
Taylor Walls on the 2 ones without in 7th.
Yeah. Ideally, Chang catches a ball and flips it to Walsey at second base. That's part of Walsey's what makes him so special is that he can cover so much ground. But right there, if there's nobody on first base, maybe you think to cut across and try to make the play with his momentum. But with being a guy on first, ideally let Chang make that play and flip it to him.
Yeah, that would be a good idea.
He had a ton of traffic.
Yeah.
Probably did pretty good to keep him to 2 runs.
Oh, I thought he was really good. I think with his time down, it was probably to be expected a little bit, but he'll be that much sharper, I think, moving forward. Happy that he came out of the game feeling good. Calf was good. All kind of checked.
And then Yandy with first homer in a couple months. I mean, mix those in.
God, he smoked that ball. Yeah, that ball was crushed. Yeah, that was good. Good to see. I mean, look, whether he's hitting homers or not, we were really pleased with what Yandy's doing. But when he drives balls like that, it's really impressive.
The pass ball in the second wound up leading 2 runs. That's just kind of a tough play for Christian.
Just part of all of that. I mean, he doesn't have the reps back there catching some of the guys. Certainly, I think a pitch that he could handle, but that's where everything kind of came in defensively. We just weren't as crisp as we'd like to be or normally are.
Just after you played the Reds, some of the players said they thought sometimes you guys play to the level of your competition.
Yeah.
Coming in here out of the break, probably expected more. I don't know. They were competitive games. But
Yeah.
I mean, look,
I don't know what the players said. I expect to win every series. Simple as that. The Royals played well. We're a good team. We should find ways to win series.
So that's clearly not the whole interview.
No, that's it.
That's the whole interview?
That's it.
There were no more questions after that?
No.
We don't. It seems like that. I don't know if that was the end, but seriously, you got Luke Rayleigh hitting in the 3-hole, and there's not one question about that. I know we got one at bat. Itzhak Paredes, 0 for 4, hitting 216. Bethencourt, 0 for 2. Abilau gets 1 at bat.
In Rayleigh's defense, he did work 2 walks, and he had the sac fly that got one of the runs home. In his defense yesterday. But still, the idea of Luke Rayleigh hitting 3, I don't want that in my lineup.
No. And it's just, and we're like, as you said, we're Brandon Lau needed a day off. You got the pinch hit, but Choi needed a day off.
I mean, maybe if anything, Brandon Lau coming off the back injury. If anything, I could see, it's Sunday, maybe.
All right.
But G-Man Choi? Really? Both of them at the same time, really?
Makes no sense whatsoever.
And I'm looking here at the race scheduled to go. You better make sure your lineups are in order, because quick little standings update, like I mentioned already. Toronto is now a half a game ahead of the Rays for that first wild card spot, and the Rays are a game and a half ahead of Seattle, 2 games ahead of Cleveland. And that's notable because you get Baltimore now in a 4-game set, who is your 3.5 against. So this is a big series now against Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
After that, you get Cleveland for a 3-game set, who you're only, I believe, a game and a half ahead right now.
Mm-hmm.
So another big series. And then Toronto after that. So these next 3 series for the Rays, and these are all going to kind of intertwine with the trade deadline. This is going to decide, I think, what the Rays are doing for the rest of the year. These next 3 series are huge right now.
Hold on a sec. I'm just looking at this. At Bubic, okay, who pitched 7 innings yesterday.
Yes.
Do you know what his splits are? I didn't even realize this. Versus lefties? This can't be right. This can't be right. 390 versus lefties with an OPS of 1.178? This can't be right. So in 59 at-bats against lefties, he's given up 23 hits, 12 runs, 4 home runs, 13 walks in 59 at-bats.
And what's he against righties?
Average 254, on base 325, OPS 717 against righties. And against lefties, he gets effing crushed. Yeah. Make it make sense.
Again, I don't have it. Because that's the only answer I have for you right now, because we didn't get one from Kevin Cash. We didn't get a question to him on that one.
I mean, it's just like, so I don't get it. I don't get it. And your two best lefty hitters are not in the lineup to start the game?
Nope.
Am I seeing something wrong here?
By the way, too, G-Man Choi against lefties this year, albeit a small sample size, 35 at bats, hitting 371.
So if you're analytics driven, right, you're trying to lose the game. By analytics, you're trying to lose the game. I mean, how is this even possible?
I told you, it comes off like the Rays are throwing the game when you put a lineup out like that. That's embarrassing. I don't know if I could find a worse lineup that was put out in across Major League Baseball yesterday than that one from any team.
Yeah.
I don't think you'll find one.
Yeah. And then, the players don't get up for, we've always talked about that. They seem to get up more for the Orioles and Rays and what have you, but
that's great. But the Rays went 18-1 against the Orioles last year or whatever it was. And that was a difference of you winning 100 games and the difference of why you're probably going to win 85 to 88 this year.
That's just bizarre. That's just like absolutely bizarre. And like, there's no questions about it. It's, all righty. So the Rays are where they're at, and what's coming up for them. First of all, number one, first thing you do is you call Aranda up.
Oh, another one too, by the way, real quick. Brandon Lau is also hitting better against lefties than righties this year.
Okay.
Albeit in a smaller sample size.
Yeah.
But continue.
Yeah. So at this point, if you're trying to win, you're bringing up Aranda. I don't even know if you're from a pitching standpoint, obviously they're doing pretty well. But you've got to address the offense in some way, shape, or form. And look, Juan Soto was a pipe dream, but hey, why not? Let's get it done. Why shouldn't we want to get it done? Why? Let's add some meaningful payroll and go out and make a move. And listen, if they want us to take on bad contracts, look, when you go after the top guys, you're usually going to overpay. So if we don't get Juan Soto, I'm fine. But go get a major league bat for the middle of this lineup that you can put in there on a daily basis.
In regards to Juan Soto as well, you can say, oh, well, we don't want to blow up our future. We don't want to blow up our prospect tank. Let me tell you right now. The Rays aren't paying him after 2024.
Of course, that's not even a question.
They would flip him in a heartbeat before and get all that prospect capital back.
Exactly. So, you're giving it away, but especially the way the Rays, their major league scouting is so good, and they usually go out and get great players in return for a trade. Although Patino has certainly not worked out. Let's have a moment of Patino here. I mean, yeah, he's been injured, but I mean, as bad as Blake Snell hasn't been great. I get it, but Patino. All of that promise, El Electrico, I haven't seen it. I've never seen it from him.
No, me neither.
I've never seen it. We have tons of other pitchers. I look at their stuff and I go, wow, that's really good. Patino, his stuff is average at best. And I mean, to trade a Cy Young Award winner, and that's the key pitching piece coming back, we usually do really well. That didn't work out so well. Didn't work out so well.
I feel like we have a good sample size for him now with the Rays. With 22 games, 18 starts, and the numbers just – They just frankly are not there. They just aren't there. I watch them pitch.
Just looking at it, it's not special.
It's not. And
it's not special at all.
I've never seen somebody throw 96 plus and it looks so hittable.
Yeah, it's straight as a string.
Like I'm curious to go back and look at what the spin rate tells me on that, but just eyeballing it, I just see a straight moving fastball that just has no life to it, even though it's coming at almost 100 miles an hour.
And even the breaking pitches don't have sharpness to them.
No.
That just don't. It's just not there.
It's like I understand you got to be patient with pitchers and all that, and some are late bloomers, some are not.
Yeah,
but
I mean, based on what we've seen,
based on what I've seen, it's not there, and he goes down to AAA now. And I tell you, the guy that I want to see in this rotation, if he keeps this trajectory by the end of the year, is going to be this Taj Bradley.
Yeah,
did you see the line yesterday in his AAA debut?
Really good.
I'm telling you,
8 strikeouts in 5 innings?
8 strikeouts, 5 innings, no runs.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, like Shane Baz did last year, and we saw him late in the season. I think Taj Bradley's on the same trajectory.
Yeah.
And right now, he looks like he has more promise than Luis Patino.
I don't think there's any question about that. Now, you got to let him get up to AAA at least. Would they let Bass have about 10 starts before they brought him up?
Yeah.
I think
so,
it was.
I mean, I'm talking more around September, if anything. But
he's definitely a September call-up.
Yeah.
No question about that. If we're still doing that, I know we change everything these days in baseball. So but that was a lost weekend for the Rays on so many levels. They needed to continue momentum, and they did everything but. And some of these roster decisions, these lineup decisions, are just ridiculous. They're ridiculous on their face. And
it's hard to
I would
watch,
like to hear. I would like to hear Cash. Maybe they've said no lineup questions. I don't know.
It was just, to me, it's hard to watch. Like, as a fan
yesterday,
you
can't watch that. It's awful.
As a fan yesterday, it's like it's my Sunday afternoon. I wasn't really doing much, and I'm like, oh, I got the Rays to watch. Kind of excited. You see the lineup, and you originally go, oh man, that doesn't seem like I really want to watch that. And then you come watch it, and the Rays, I think they had like 1 hit through the first 4 innings, maybe.
Yeah.
They just did nothing. The night before,
and the Royals do nothing for you to watch.
The night before, they got no hit through like 5.
Yeah.
By Brady Singer.
Yeah. Good local kid, but great story. But
I don't really care about that.
Not
right
interested.
Now, but not interested right now.
Yeah.
And that's
a Rays fan.
These
great story,
games are just boring to watch, really.
Yeah. And then there's this. I was driving down 275 yesterday on my way to see that horrible movie Thor, and past that great billboard of Wander Francos, who's not playing, hasn't played a lot this year. His big gold chain with the 5 hanging off is really creative. And the Rays gave away that thing earlier in the year, right? Made a marketing decision to say, hey, this guy's got a lot of jewelry. So we find out this weekend that his car got broken into, and $650,000 worth of jewelry was stolen from his car. And it happened, up in Jacksonville. Khalil Eugene Mathis, who was evidently a serial burglar who obviously was purely knew exactly what he was going after, and who wouldn't after the Rays marketing, which, Rays marketing has been fantastic this year, really doing a great job, especially putting out guys that have big jewelry collections. So $300,000 worth of, and by the way, Mathis took a $60 safe from the rear of the vehicle. So let me get this right. You have a $60 safe sitting in the rear of the vehicle, and you can actually lift the safe out of the car? Am I missing something here again? What's the point of having a safe that you can lift out of the car and take it wherever you want to and figure out how to get it open?
I don't know, but I'm sure there had to have been a conversation taking place with Mr. Franco from somebody. I don't understand why you have all that in your car. Well,
it was in a safe.
Why is the safe in your car?
Why is it not bolted down so you can't take it out? Or maybe it was. I don't know. But it's
I don't know. A weird.
I need more information.
A weird story.
Right. So $300,000 in gold, diamond, encrusted Cuban link chain and circle medallion with diamonds and a W in the center. I haven't seen that one. $200,000 rose gold Cuban link chain with diamonds. $70,000 gold pendant with a medallion in green and blue lettering spelling Franco 5. He has a lot of stuff that spells out, does he forget how his name is spelled? So he has to, I don't know, just kidding. $44,000 platinum Rolex watch with diamonds. Nice. A $20,000 American League championship ring, $20,000 championship ring from Durham, and a $5,000 gold pendant of Jerry the Mouse from Tom and Jerry. All right, can we have a moment on that? You have a $5,000 gold pendant celebrating Tom and Jerry. Oh, I don't know. Maybe I know the market's not doing well, but put your money in gold, I guess, is a good idea. Yeah, it's a very good idea.
Tom and Jerry pendant.
A Tom and Jerry, they make that? It's worth $5,000 celebrating Tom and Jerry? And it's a pendant of Jerry the Mouse, by the way. Tom just got
I have
cut.
so many like follow-ups here.
I know. I mean, like, bring it on. Like, what do you got? I mean, I'm not a jewelry guy. I mean, maybe I should get Julie and Steve and Weintraub on here to talk to me about this. But $300,000 gold and diamond encrusted with a big W. I guess. I mean, honestly, though, these are good investments these days. They are, I guess, because gold is, always holds its worth. $70,000 gold pendant with Franco 5.
Now, did he get all this back? Was that specified?
Yeah, I think he got most of it, except for $100,000 worth of stuff, I guess, that he had already pawned. So he got most of it back when they arrested this guy, I'm guessing. So yeah, so that's good. That's good. That's the good news. But my God, that's a lot of jewelry to be having and just to be leaving in your car. But it was in a safe.
I know what he spent his money on when he got that contract.
Yeah. But another thing, if you're going to buy a safe and you're going to put $650,000 in, buy one that's, a little bit more like a little bit like a $500 safe that you can bolt in your car or something like that. No, I'm just spitballing here. All right. So one other race thing I want to get to before, and I kind of, wasn't really going to talk about this because, you get messages all the time and you don't know who they're from. And this particular person that sent me this message, I don't know who he is. And I don't know what, I haven't been able to verify anything that he told me. So this is complete rumor and complete conjecture, but it made me think a little bit because of some of the other stuff that I do know. So I do know in the past few months that the Tampa Bay Rays have not really been engaged. Well, they haven't been engaging with the TSA. In other words, they haven't really been talking about, okay, this is my, this is where we're going to put the park. This is what we want to build. We want to have a developer come in and put all this stuff around it. We're going to do it this. We're going to do this and share it. This is the design. This is what the roof is going to look like. The Rays have been doing that for about 2.5 years. And they just stopped doing it recently after the Montreal thing went down. So, and the TSA is not really, and they're going to meet this week. But what the Rays have been asking the TSA is how much money, like just cash money. How much do you think you can come up with? Basically, if we don't tell you what we're doing or where we're doing it, and we're going to do it somewhere in Hillsborough County, how much money are you going to give us? Just how much can you give us from like tourist taxes? And the answer is about $300,000. Okay, so that's interesting. So if they're going to go off and do something on their own where they're not really involving the TSA and they don't want them, and so they're going to pay for most of it, or bring in a developer, maybe a third party, maybe it could be the Seminole Indian tribe or something. Maybe it could be the fairgrounds. Maybe this could be part of a big development out there. Would the TSA necessarily be involved in that? My guess is yes, because it's. I'm not exactly sure who owns the fairgrounds, but I think it's that state property, it's county property, if I'm not mistaken. So, but it might be a totally different location altogether that they're going to do something. It might be outside of Ybor City, maybe somewhere else in Hillsborough County. Don't know. But so I get this message from the guys that basically saying, hey, there's going to be an announcement. And we talked about this last week. Zach Blobner over at 620 kind of said, hey, we're thinking an announcement's going to be made in the next couple of days. The financing is, financing a location are going to be finalized. And this is basically what this guy was telling me. He said, I'm involved in my company. I signed an NDA, so I can't really talk about specifics, but this is happening. And, JP, I've heard you on the radio. I know you're really going to like the location. So by this guy, this is clearly on the Tampa side. And again, I've not vetted this guy. I have no idea who he is. He's just sending me a message. Could be all BS. But then I'm like, well, then why has the TSA stopped really talking specifically to Hillsborough County and the TSA? Well, if they're going out and they've got a third-party partner or developer that they're going to do this on their own but they still need, some public money because they're going to put it in Hillsborough County, what's the deal? I'm like, well, that's interesting. So maybe the Rays have kind of gone from, maybe gone and been researching their own thing, want to do their own thing, but still want some public money to help get it built. And frankly, I don't care if that's the route they're going. Fantastic. Okay, great. Let's get it done. It probably would be an easier route if you're just going to do it mostly yourself. But again, $300,000, and this is $300 million. And this is something else. I don't think the TSA or Hillsborough County or anybody really should just, blindly give, write a check and say, okay, here, go do what you're going to do and putting it in Hillsborough County somewhere. There's got to be some teamwork involved. So it seems like the Rays are going and doing something that may be on their own or maybe what else. We don't know. But again, if it gets done, I don't care. And I didn't really want to bring this up, but I'm just telling you guys, this is, a message that I got from somebody who I haven't vetted, don't know, all rumor, all conjecture. But we like to, it's a sports radio, folks. We're not going to printing something in the newspaper that this is definitely happening or this is what we're heard. This is chatter that's out there. So we're going to, I think, that may be what Zach was talking about. I don't know. Maybe he got the same message, but I just think it's interesting. And so I'm throwing it out there for you guys just to chomp on it, whatever. And I'm like you, and I read a lot of your comments from last week when I came out and told you there's another meeting with the TSA. So maybe, things are moving forward. And that's what we're doing here. We're not coming out and saying, oh, this is going to get done. And well, I have said that I think eventually it's going to be in Tampa, eventually at some point. So yes, we've talked about that. That's what makes the most sense. That's where the money takes you. Follow the money, right? But when we give you updates, we're not saying, oh, hey, we're announcing where the stadium is going to be. No, these are updates. They're having a meeting. It's an update. Ken Hagan is not promising a stadium at this particular time. He's not promising this or promising that like some of you idiots out there want to say. No, that's not what's happening. We're giving you updates. And when Ken comes on the show, he's giving you updates as to where the process is. Okay? Simply what it is, because everybody is hungry for this news. And we're giving it to you when we get it and what we get. And I'm giving it to you with all information that I have. And I'm qualifying a lot of this information by it's just rumor, conjecture. I got a message. I don't know who this guy is. Maybe he's connected. Maybe he knows what's going on. Fantastic. So at least, I'm telling you what I'm hearing. But none of this is set in stone. All I can tell you is the TSA is scheduled to meet with the Rays this week. What are they going to talk about? I don't know. Hopefully it's the stadium and where they are in that progress. So there's your update. Is that fair?
Yeah.
We're
all good.
I'm sure somebody's going, oh, JP's reporting that there's a deal. No, I'm not reporting that. I'm just saying there's chatter out there. And I think this is probably exactly what Zach was saying last week, because I tweeted out, I was talking to Zach. We were going back and forth, all nice. We're good friends. We're all that. And just saying, hey, I wasn't questioning but it sounded like you were saying there's an announcement coming like this week. And he's like, no, he said, no, not an announcement, but there's chatter out there. Okay. So there's chatter out there. That's good. That's good. Let's get more chatter, but for God's sake, Stu, just get the damn deal done.
This just reminds me, by the way, before we hit our first break here, somebody on TikTok, I think, and I'm not on TikTok, but I came across this on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody went on they review the ballparks of baseball, and they were like, I love when the Trop has blank, and they showed all these different weird things at the Trop.
Oh, I saw that.
And the one that had me dying was Creepy Wallman. You know how when you come into the concourse and there's the guy with the big glove that's coming out of the wall?
Yes. Yeah.
And apparently this guy had never been to the Trop, and he was super creeped out by it. And it did get me thinking, why is that there still?
Well, of all the things you could bitch about at the Trop, at least that's kind of
it was
unique.
just kind of funny because I've never heard anybody complain about it.
No.
I'm just used to seeing it, but I started thinking, why is that there?
Or you're in the outfield as you come in. So I guess the idea is, hey, this Rays players in center. That's Kevin Kiermaier busting through the wall to make a catch.
Maybe, but it's been there since the Devil Ray days.
I know.
It's been there forever.
Yeah, it's from day one,
and then,
I think.
I think he said also there's a random stretch, and I have not seen this. I can't figure out. He's like, there's a random stretch where it's you're on an Italian type street. Where is that at in the Trop? He had the video of it, and I can't place where it is.
When you're walking around center field underneath.
He said Italian, though, but it kind of looked like the way the lights looked. It almost looked like it was Ybor City.
Yeah, it's supposed to be. I think it's supposed to be.
I think he's supposed to be Ybor City, so I think he got it wrong. But then the one that cracked me up the most was the outside. He zoomed in at the top of the building, and it's do we own a pressure washer? Would it kill anybody? I will say that about the Trop. On the outside, when you start looking around, that is one thing I've never understood. Can we get a pressure wash or a fresh coat of paint?
Are you kidding me?
It
costs
that
money,
hard?
bro.
Is it that hard though to pressure wash a building?
Costs money. It costs money.
It's not a lot of money.
Oh, he's got $500 million.
I don't know.
Allegedly.
I just found that video very hilarious. That part.
Well, think about this. I'm sure. This is just again connecting the dots. But my guess is there's because with every stadium, there's an agreement, right? That you do this, you're responsible for this. Club's responsible for this. We're responsible to maintain this. You're responsible to maintain this. Blah 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 blah. So it's probably the city's job to necessarily maintain it. And the city's probably like, we're not making jack off you guys. I think they get like 50 cents a ticket or something. It's like, we're losing so much money on you guys. And so much money is like, you know what? We're not doing it. We're not going to send anybody, because it'd be expensive to get that thing pressure washed. You got to hire a company to get in there and get the scaffolding up there or come off the roof. And
sure, major league franchise.
I know anybody else would do it, but you're just putting lipstick on a pig anyway. So
I love the drop. I love my
I know
drop.
you do.
I'm talking about the outside of the drop right now. But the inside of it, I told you, oddly quirky, unique, and I love the thing.
This is great from Richie P regarding the guy breaking through the wall. Funny, my guess is it costs too much for Stu to take it down. Absolutely, it would cost money to take it down. So why? I don't have a problem with it. It's one of the charming parts of the drop for me. Davis spin increased out of the pen. He averaged 6 points. Who's he talking about?
He's talking about how Wade
Luke
Davis, we converted him back in the day from a starter to a bullpen guy, and he became really good like that.
Yeah.
And he suggested that Luis Patino could be due for that. And I kind of agree. And I got his numbers here, by the way, when I was talking about his spin rate. I wanted to fact check this. So try to make sense of this. Isn't really that difficult, I think, here. But his four-seam fastball, on average, moves 4 inches towards a right-handed batter and drops 12 inches. League average is horizontal movement is 7 inches and a 15-inch drop. So his fastball, moving-wise, is below the league average.
Well below league
So
average.
that kind of lines up with what my eyes are telling me, that for whatever reason, it's just not moving much right now.
Yeah. And that's, that certainly reflects in what's going on with his pitching. This one from Richie P. Ken Hagan was getting some BS from people that are hell-bent on having the stadium in St. Pete. Yeah, that's shadow of a stadium guy. Just absolutely pointless. His fastball is below league average and horizontal. Oh, there you go. Right there. You said that. My bad. I'm trying to get through these bots that are hitting our
I know
feed.
I'm doing a bang up job here of blocking, but they're coming in fast and furious here.
Things you do when you regarding Richie P. Wander's jewelry collections. Things you do when you have a shitload of money for $700. Yes, absolutely. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back on the other side. We're going to get into some Buck stuff as everything gets going on Wednesday here. We already have a couple of teams already in training camp. So it is NFL season. It is upon us. And this might not be a fun exercise for you, what we're about to do, but we try to keep it real. What if things don't go Tom Brady's way this year? What's going to happen? Well, we'll start with Gronk. Stay with us. The world economy is in chaos, and mortgage rates are going to go higher in the next few months. Meanwhile, home values are up 24% in some neighborhoods of Tampa Bay. Do not miss this opportunity to refinance your home, get some much-needed cash to handle skyrocketing inflation, and fill up your car. Contact Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Even if you've recently refinanced, Scott can make the deal work because he charges no lender fees like the big boys do. He will also shop your loan around to dozens of lenders and get the best rates and terms. Let them compete for your business. The big banks charge huge lending fees. Customer service is simply a phone number with endless wait times. Scott is local and will personally take your call. Here's his cell phone number. Tell him JP said you could call. 813-294-7595. Scott's done over 3,000 loans, including many coaches and athletes. He will answer your calls and concerns and give you workable strategies to be smart with your money. Reduce your payments. It's not just what you make, it's what you keep. 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Military veterans, are you struggling with alcoholism or substance abuse? Is it taking a toll on your relationships and your work life? Are you having trouble focusing? Constantly anxious? Well, you may not be surprised to know that your fellow military vets have your six. Heroes Mile is a new concept in rehabilitation clinics, veterans helping veterans. At Heroes Mile, we staff our rehab center with fellow veterans who can understand what you're going through. Our mission is to help you heal from issues that only your fellow veterans can truly understand. Located just outside of DeLand, we offer a full range of inpatient and outpatient programs dealing with substance abuse, post-traumatic stress, and military sexual trauma. We choose to serve veterans because we know how complex these issues are. You could choose to fight the battle alone or win the war together. We are the community care provider with the VA and also accept most major insurance. At Heroes Mile Rehabilitation Center, we have your six. Go to heroesmile.com or call 888-VET-NOW-2. That's heroesmile.com or call 888-VET-NOW-2. The health professionals at Bay Area Modern Medical Center want you to know it's time to commit to a new healthy lifestyle. It's literally a matter of life and death. 42% of Americans are considered obese, and being obese made you 3 times more likely to be hospitalized by COVID. So getting in shape is not just about looking better, it's about living much longer. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, they take a very different approach to primary care. It's personalized, preventative medicine. Christopher Lugo and his experienced staff are proactive in looking at your issues before they become a problem, encouraging a healthy lifestyle with proper diet, supplements, and exercise to optimize your active lifestyle, building up your immune system, not destroying it with poor nutrition and bad habits. So call for an appointment, maybe change your primary care, and get on a journey back to full health and a happy life. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Have you purchased a home in the last 10 years and the stucco is starting to come loose from the upstairs portion? Well, that can cause some serious damage that you can't see until it's too late. Is it becoming an eyesore? Have you contacted the builder and just can't get any relief? That's very common here in Florida. So call the law offices of Christopher Palermo. They can help you. Call 813-221-5636. That's 813-221-5636. He's recovered millions for his clients. The law offices of Christopher Palermo at PalermoPA.com.
Coming back at you. Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. It's only just begun.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. Brought to you by the great folks at the Gold and Diamond Source. We thank Julie and Steve Weintraub over there, who already mentioned we really should bring them on about this jewelry day. This Wander story is crazy to me. It's absolutely bizarre on so many levels. That's so much jewelry. But if you want something like Wander has, and I would probably think that Wander would probably he would have a nice day at the Gold and Diamond Source. Like he could go crazy at the Gold and Diamond Source. I mean, bananas, because they have the best selection. Boy, they'd love to see him coming too, wouldn't they? Woo! Yeah, absolutely. And they have the best selection, obviously. If you want to find something in your budget I know a lot of people are like, oh, you don't have to be a Wander Franco to go to the Golden Diamond Source. You can go. I can go. Nick went, got his ring. I was in there the other day. Unbelievable stuff there. And like I said, you can buy something for $20, $30, $40, or you can get a $50,000 ring or a $100,000 watch. You want some of those great Rolex collectibles? They have them. If you want to take your watch in there and get the best money for it, you can do that. If you want to go bring any old gold jewelry in or diamonds, they'll give you the best price for it. You can spend it right there, or you can take the cash. So many things you could do with the Golden Diamond Source. And the best part about it is they've been here for decades, and you can trust them. You can trust them to give you the best price. You can trust them to get the best price. You can, because they have so much volume. They do so much volume, and it's easy. And the people that work there are phenomenal. And that's the best part of it, because I don't know squat about jewelry. If you go in there, they'll tell you all about it. They'll make it make sense. And you'll really walk out of there feeling like you got a great deal and you're dealing with family. So it's the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Old Overton Road. Always online at the Golden Diamond Source. .com. All right, I want to get into some of the Bucs stuff here, and you were just saying something I think is a very interesting conversation, and so many of the fans talk about this. I'm not a uniform guy, never have been. Doesn't really matter to me what the hell they wear. Just go out and play football. But I know a lot of people are into this stuff. I mean, big time. And so many Buccaneer fans, and I don't get it because I came here in '97. So and from afar, when I was growing up looking at the Bucs uniforms, they were a joke. The creamsicles were a joke. I mean, it was like, that's the most god-awful. That is not a football color. It's not a football color. It's like, it was almost be like wearing pink. Like creamsicle is like it's kind of like a pink. It's not I'm sorry, to be toxic masculinity guy here. It's not a masculine color. It's just not. And there's science has been done. There's certain colors that make you feel nice and warm and fuzzy and chill. And there's certain colors that make you feel, yeah, I need a burger. Red and gold, McDonald's, here we go, yeah. Why do you think these companies have such bright colors in your face? Come to McDonald's. It's red, it's yellow. Ah! Creamsicle. There you go. Put this on. Go play football. Don't hurt anybody, but it's creamsicle. Go ahead. I don't want to see him. And I can guarantee you this. Tom Brady doesn't want to play him. And that's why you're not getting a creamsicle this year. What do you think about that, creamsicle guy?
Well, I'll tell you this. The reason why I wanted to have this discussion, and in the grand scheme of things, uniforms do not matter. They don't win games, they don't lose games, in my opinion. Regardless,
Mr. Creamsicle.
I know a lot of Bucs fans will argue that point, however.
I got numbers to back it up.
Yeah.
To back it up.
I know. We have lots of numbers to back those up.
Yeah.
But my point here with this is I'm seeing all these different teams that are coming out with new uniforms, new helmets. I think it's like 13 different teams in the last few days. It's just everybody's getting a new logo, all this kind of stuff.
And the Bucs
excuse they were supposed to get these creamsicles this year.
Right.
And they're using the excuse of, well,
And their supply chain are holding us back.
They're holding back
any other.
Is there a high cost on creamsicle?
Is cost colored gear?
I don't.
They ran out of
creamsicle
creamsicle material.
And here's what makes no sense to me.
It was highly in demand.
Here's what makes zero sense to me.
The Bucs website,
not the Bucs website, the NFL, Fanatics, whatever. I think Fanatics controls all of it now. The apparel. If you go on there, I swear there's as much cream as there is regular.
Fans love it.
They're selling crap out the end, including my stuff. I have a creamsicle Rondé Barber jersey. It's one of my prized possessions. Thank you. Love that thing. I love the creamsicle. I want to see the creamsicles just as much as it.
Because when you go out to a bar, something pops. It definitely pops.
I like it.
But I digress.
It's different. And I love the logo. To me, I think I'm more tied. Honestly, I'm more tied to the logo than I probably am the jerseys. I love the old logo.
With the
I think it's so unique. I love it. It's identifiable. Everybody knows that's the Buccaneers.
Yeah.
For good, bad, or worse reasons, everybody knows that's the Buccaneers.
Yeah. And that color is without question, and it's not close. The losingest color in the history of sports. Like not just football, not just, it's in the history of sports. The losingest color ever.
Anyway,
there's something to it. I am telling you this.
Look at that picture. That helmet is freaking beautiful. That helmet. I'm telling you, I'm more tied to the logo, and I'm tied to that white helmet with the nice red and the creamsicle lines going on it. That helmet pops, man. On a night game, that would
it's been a question that it rivals who really built the pyramids to me. It really is. And that question is, when is Tom Brady going to retire? Right?
Mm-hmm.
How do I connect these? When are the creamsicles scheduled to return? 2023. You want to know when Tom Brady's retiring? Well, at least not playing for the Bucs. There you go.
That's possible.
You want to find the answer to one of the most incredible questions of all time. When will Tom Brady retire? There you go. That's what creamsicle means.
I'm not saying that would shock me in anything.
And again, I like when I look at those uniforms, I go, "Oh, those are kind of cool." But there's no. Why are you going to tempt fate? Tom Brady's smart enough to say, "I ain't wearing that shit. Not gonna do it." Like I'm surprised he even wears it to practice. To be honest with you.
Well, here's my thing. I was trying to connect my own dots for it. The reason I think is because Malcolm Glazer bought the team in 1995.
That's right.
The creamsicles were out after 1 year of them.
That's right.
He said goodbye. We're not wearing these things anymore. We're not having these colors. We're going red, black, and pewter. We're going to be mean and tough Buccaneers now, not the silly ones that you're mentioning, right?
Right.
I understand Malcolm Glazer is no longer here, but the team is still run by the Glazers.
That's right.
My suspicion on this is this supply chain thing. Maybe it's true, and maybe I'm just overanalyzing, but I'm going to overanalyze it anyway because a lot of people care about it. I don't think the Glazers want to see those uniforms back on Raymond James Stadium ever again.
I don't either.
I don't think they.
I don't either.
That had to have been there's just no way they want to bring up those old wounds. They're having so much success now, and they're just like, we have such this great team. We can't put them in creamsicles now because what could go wrong will go wrong. Maybe I have a suspicion that could be why this is going on and why they just keep further delaying it. Because listen, they sell creamsicle jerseys on Fanatics. Okay, how many do you have inventory in there that you can't make 53 of them for one Sunday a year?
It's BS. It's BS.
I need someone to explain that one to me.
Well, listen, it's like you say, they're so popular among Buck fans, longtime Buck fans. But I keep asking you people, you witnessed, what was it, 14 years of 2-14 football? Like, and you want to bring these uniforms back? Well, I understand there was a nice little 3-year run there with Doug Williams and Selman and Ricky Bell. Yeah. Okay. But the majority of it was god awful. And you don't think that there's just a little bit of connection to wearing those uniforms and losing? I'm telling you, you go out in that, you look down at yourself, and it's like, it just brings this chill. I forget who it was. It might have been Bear Bryant, but somebody, I forget who, which some coach used to paint the visitors' locker room pink. Like he purposefully paint it pink because it's a chill color and it makes you feel less crazy. I hate to, I'm not allowed to use any gender things here, so I can't say less masculine, but I'll say less masculine. You just can't, right? And so the creamsicles may have some subconsciously thing going on there. I just don't think you can be a badass wearing that color. I just don't think you can. It's creamsicle. Can you see the Steelers wearing creamsicle?
No,
you can't. You can't. No way. It's just not. They would laugh at that. And so I'm just begging you, fans, why do you want to bring this back? What is so important about this creamsicle?
I think
brought you nothing but misery.
I think, though, for like the younger generation, like myself, like I didn't witness the creamsicle, and I have this like I just want to see it one time. Like I remember it when they had the one game with it, in 2009, I think, against the Packers, and that was a good day for the Bucs, by the way, when they wore those things. And remember, like I think Rondé spoke about it, how cool it was to see everybody wearing creamsicle, and the Raymond James was like totally like creamsicled out and everything. It looked really cool. Like, I think for me, the younger generation, we want to see that again. It's kind of how, like I tell you all the time, I love the old Devil Rays logo. I love the old Devil Rays uniforms. I love it the Rays wear those on select Saturdays now. And the younger generation wanted to see those. I think the demand is high to seeing the creamsicles, at least like a cameo of it or something.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. The Steelers, you said the Steelers would never be caught dead in that. The Steelers did throwbacks where they were wearing Bumblebee jerseys, for crying out loud.
They were.
Have you seen what the Green Bay Packers,
so bad.
some of their throwbacks?
Bad.
Bad.
But it ain't creamsicle.
Okay, but my point is, these are some of the most storied, those are the two most storied franchises in NFL history, I'd argue.
With bold colors. Gold and green.
Okay, well.
Black and gold.
Well, they still wore those hideous bumblebees. The Packers wore the one that was like blue with a circle.
Would you like a creamsicle?
Would you cut it out?
It's nice and soft. Like, it's not even a hard popsicle. It's a soft popsicle.
You know what that color reminds?
It's like a soft popsicle. Like, it's soft.
Now, I'm a little colorblind.
And it's
you're
creamy inside.
You have to help me out.
Creamy
is that
inside.
color more salmony to you? Is it in the salmon? Is it in the
Yes.
salmon? Like,
yeah.
Okay.
Right. Salmon, pink, creamsicle. It's all in the same.
It's in the same family.
Little nice creamsicle, soft. Nice,
Hey,
taste sweet.
Hey, I think pink though as an accent color would work well though on a team. I mean, we're just gonna go down this whole conversation now.
Pink
Do you
accent.
remember when Oregon had like a different uniform? They still do, but Oregon has like a different uniform every week. Do you remember when they did the black and pink? When Mariota was there?
No.
I'm sorry. Those things were nice. They did the black and pink uniforms.
Hot pink.
Hot pink. I'm telling you,
Yeah, I think we should just go hot
it
pink.
pops.
We should just go all hot
It
pink.
pops. I'm telling you. Replace the red.
At least
Pink and
hot
black.
pink is a bold color. Like hot pink is like sexy. Hot pink is sex. At least that's like, give me hot. Can you have hot creamsicle? Like neon creamsicle?
You can get a little dark with it.
We could go neon creamsicle, maybe? I don't know. But it's not. It has to be muted. Creamsicle's muted. Soft. Sweet. Have a creamsicle. No, I don't want creamsicle. I want pewter and red. Pewter and red. Now, those are badass colors. You win Super Bowls in pewter and red. You don't win Super Bowls in creamsicle. You just don't. All right. So Scott Reynolds was on last week. We're going to have him on each and every week from Peter Report. And he mentioned the Rachaad White diary that they're going to have. I'm just loving this Rachaad White guy. I think he's going to be maybe our best draft pick and our favorite draft pick. I think he's going to have a really cool year. I'm just saying. So he's doing his diary for the Peter Report. He writes, the rookies report on Saturday. It's always great to get in early and get into a routine and talk with the coaches and get a better understanding of training camp and what it's going to look like. Obviously, this is a different environment with a huge change from college. I'm getting that rapport with the quarterbacks, catching passes from Blaine Gabbert and Kyle Trask. We've been doing some walkthroughs and getting ready. Summer has flown by. Time always flies for me. I've been grinding, trying to get better at my craft and being a better running back and also being a better father and a better man during this time. Make sure my family is straight. My daughter and my lady have relocated to Tampa. We've got everything situated over the summer. I just love this guy's vibe. You know, he has a, you know what? He's got a Chris Godwin vibe is what he's got. He's all business. This is his, you know, he understands this is a job. This is his opportunity. Like, he's ready to go. You know, some guys come in and it's like, ooh, I'm in, you know, ooh, welcome to the NFL. I'm happy, you know, and having fun. It's fun out here. But this guy is like all business. And I love that about him. So I'm looking forward. That's the guy I'm going to be watching.
Yeah, I think the second they made the pick, like at the time, you know, I did like a bit of a double take, like Rachaad White. And I think it's probably on us because we don't really watch much Pac-12 football.
Right.
Just honestly,
exactly.
Because I'm not staying up till 10:30 to watch Arizona State and Cal.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just not doing it.
But when we drafted him like 2 months ago, I went, you know, and just watched the crap ton of his highlights.
Yeah, I did a lot of like tape studies.
The dude is special, man.
Yeah.
And I was, the first thing that popped out of me is like, how's this guy in the third round?
Well,
like, how did this guy wait till the third round?
Well, the Bucks were, a lot of people, that was a reach for him, honestly.
Yeah, I know.
Honestly,
but when I looked at the tape, I'm like, how is he not rated higher?
I couldn't really tell you, but I mean, you have to give the guys at Pewter Report credit because I believe Scott Reynolds had that guy mocked to him.
He did,
multiple times. And I listened to all their pods and he kept saying, I'm telling you, the Bucks are going to go after Rachaad White. And I'm sitting here like, who the hell is Rachaad White? Right. And then you go back in and you see how gifted as a pass catcher he is. And that's why I keep telling you, I don't think it's that far of a stretch to say this guy could be as good as Le'Veon Bell as a receiver.
Yeah,
I really do think that's who he is.
He's so natural catching the ball. I talked about this earlier, and it's something that you really watch in training camp. Guys that are effortless catching the ball, like who is it? It was God, I'm just blanking on his name now. Rojo. Like, so when Rojo came up and you first go out to training camp, it's like, wow, look at this guy. He's big, he's fast. He moved really, really well. And then you saw him go out and catch passes. And it's hard to explain, but guys who do it naturally and just don't break stride, you know, and then there's guys that are like concentrating on the football, like, and you could see them kind of slow down a little bit and they're just not natural at catching the football. It's just something you got to see with your own eyes. And watching Rachaad White, he's so natural catching the football, especially in game opportunities. I mean, you like to watch. It's almost like his head is already around, and he can already see where he's going. And he's already setting up his blockers, and he's really good in the screen. It's interesting to watch.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see what the Bucks do with that backfield because obviously you're paying Leonard Fournette a lot of money.
Yeah,
and Leonard Fournette's still going to be the primary runner, I believe, regardless. And you know, he's got some mileage on him now. You know, he's going to be here. This is probably the last big contract that he's signing in the NFL.
No question.
Rachaad White is going to be here for the entirety of that tenure. So if Rachaad White, if it's just like, hey, we need you to just catch passes and we need you to block. And I believe he's a pretty good blocker as well from the running back position, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And that's not obviously Leonard Fournette's forte. Leonard Fournette needs to run the ball. If that's what they're planning on doing, having Leonard be the primary runner and Rachaad White, hey, we just need you to do this for us. and you're a young guy. We need you to spell Leonard Fournette. We're paying him a lot of money. We need to keep him healthy. We need to keep him fresh. To me, that seems like where they're probably going to go with this backfield. But I think eventually you might see Rachaad White start creeping up on Leonard Fournette as that everything is a 3-down back in this league, because I think he's that good.
Well, he said he wants to compete for the starting job. He's not ceding anything to Leonard Fournette. So good on you, son. Go get it. A couple other things from his diary I thought were really cool. He said, we all went to the stadium for the first time recently. It was lovely. I was ready to play that day. I wanted to play a game. Being in that stadium with the cannons firing, it brought out a lot of joy and excitement to a guy like me that really loves football. I'm passionate about football, and I want to be great. I give it my best. I give my all to this game. When I was at the stadium, I had tears in my eyes. I've never been in an NFL stadium before. That was my first time. I was grateful and appreciative of the experience and blessed. I just love that.
I love that.
This dude is all about football, man. These are the guys that make the difference. I'm telling you, folks, you can just, it's almost like night and day when you interview guys. You can tell guys that are just happy to be NFL players. Rondé tipped me off to this one time. He gave me a bunch of examples of players, and I won't name names, but it was like and then I was thinking about the interviews I did with those players, and I was like, yeah, you just get a sense that the guys like this, you talk to the Rondé Barbers, Rachaad Whites, they're like, football is my life. This is it. And there are other guys that are just, they're happy to be here. And some of them were really good football players. They were, but they weren't great football players. And they could have been great.
Yeah. And some other people, like in cases of like Ali Marpet, like we could say, like, does that guy really like love football? And like, we're not saying that as a knock on Ali Marpet. He's just very intelligent. And you could tell that he has other things that he can go do.
Exactly.
And not have to like break his body down permanently.
Right.
So there is two sides to the coin on that, but I definitely see your point there.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Like Ali Marpet was a really good football player. He's a Pro Bowler, a really good football player. You know, if he was more, and it's just, I'm not saying that you have to be, it's what your mentality is, you know, it's what, and he's proved.
Every GM, every coach wants a guy like that.
Yeah.
End of story. Like they're not looking at it. Well, this guy's really intelligent and he could be great off the field at this. I mean, when you come into the building, you're a football player first and foremost. And that's what we want out of these guys. And you know, I see that in as well is Gadecki, the guy they got is the offensive lineman.
Yeah.
I see the same thing in him.
Yeah, absolutely. Like he is out to prove that he is an NFL player.
Oh yeah. He wants to eat somebody.
Yeah. And he's like, but he's got a baby face. He doesn't intimidate you. Like when you look at him and he talks, it's not intimidating, but when he gets on the field, you can see, we haven't seen him in pads yet. You know, I watched a little bit of tape and he's mauling people, but you know, at that level, he's better than everybody else, and everybody else is smaller. And there's a reason, you know, he's playing against guys that he ain't going to be playing against in the NFL. So when you look at his college tape, it's really hard to. But when you looked at him at Senior Bowl, you know, now it's like it's a little bit more of guys that you're going to see in the league, and he held up well.
And I wonder too, you know, obviously Ali Marpet's not here, but that would probably be a good resource for him to maybe pick from, because Ali Marpet was a D3 guy and came into this system.
Well, if the Bucs haven't put them together, then they're doing something wrong.
Yeah, I'd like to think.
Guarantee they have.
I'd like to think that that's a guy he could lean on and get some advice of, as coming in as a guy who played at a lesser school, Luke Gadecki. But I mean, there's no guarantee he's going to start at that position because Aaron Stinney's there. Maybe neither of them is the number one guy, and it's a little bit of a process as the season goes on. I don't know, but that's an interesting position battle to watch that we haven't talked about much. And I'm really excited to see Gadecki out there, how he shapes up against some of the like imagine Gadecki going up against like Vita Vea and Hakeem Hicks. Like I want to see that battle, how he holds up against those
one-on-ones are very interesting to watch, especially early in camp and then late in camp.
Yeah.
A lot of times, you know, you're walking around there and you want to get a little bit of piece of everything. I always go over to the far side of the field and watch the one-on-ones, the two-on-ones, the little individual drills that they're doing with the offense and the defensive linemen, especially when you get the other teams here.
Yeah.
Because now they're going against guys like that, you know, that they don't go against every day, and they already know their moves and all that stuff. So very, very interesting to see those guys.
Yeah.
All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, we'll get to some of the other national stories that are going on this week. I got to talk a little bit about Thor and Nope, these two movies I saw. I'm not going to spoil anything for you guys. There'll be no spoilers, but there's just certain things about, especially if you're going to see Nope, I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you in this way. It'll make you understand the film better because it's a little quirky. So stay with us. Cryptocurrency is all the rage today. The market cap for the industry is now over $1 trillion. And you read about people making millions of dollars, right? You want to get in, but have no idea what to do? Or maybe you dabbled a bit and you want to unlock the real money-making opportunities and don't know how to do it. There are over 10,000 tokens and thousands of decentralized finance exchanges to navigate. So what do? You go to DeFiLava.com. The folks at DeFiLava.com are in Tampa Bay, and they work with you directly to set up custom accounts, answer all your questions, and provide market analysis. Decentralized finance and cryptocurrencies are here to stay and will change the financial markets as we know them. Get in the game. Get with the experts at DeFiLava.com and tell them JP sent you and get their free 2022 crypto market forecast today at DeFiLava.com. Don't get left behind, folks. Make some money at DeFiLava.com. The health professionals at Bay Area Modern Medical Center want you to know it's time to commit to a new healthy lifestyle. It's literally a matter of life and death. 42% of Americans are considered obese, and being obese made you 3 times more likely to be hospitalized by COVID. So getting in shape is not just about looking better, it's about living much longer. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, they take a very different approach to primary care. It's personalized, preventative medicine. Christopher Lugo and his experienced staff are proactive in looking at your issues before they become a problem, encouraging a healthy lifestyle with proper diet, supplements, and exercise to optimize your active lifestyle, building up your immune system, not destroying it with poor nutrition and bad habits. So call for an appointment, maybe change your primary care, and get on a journey back to full health and a happy life. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Italiano Insurance has been serving and working in our community for over 60 years, and it's not just about insuring all the pieces of your life. Italiano is as much a part of Tampa Bay as the Cuban sandwich, Gasparilla, and our Bucks, Lightning, and Rays. They're also active supporters of great charities like the Humane Society, Metropolitan Ministries, and local pediatric cancer centers. Hey, we all need insurance, so do business with a local company with a commitment to our community. Don't call some 1-800 number. Call Italiano and be greeted by one of your neighbors. That's 813-877-7799 or ItalianoInsurance.com. Named the Small Business of the Year by the Tampa Chamber. 813-877-7799. Let's go.
Right now, back to the show with JP on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. We had Christopher Lugo on the show just the other day. He works with our National Guard. Obviously, thank you for your service, Christopher Lugo. And he is one of these doctors that just thinks a little differently, folks. And especially if you have a COVID diagnosis. He was on the show last week and talked about it. And they are treating COVID patients with tremendous success. Antivirals, ivermectin, a whole regimen of supplements and vitamins that do the job, folks. There's no reason to be sick or to die from COVID anymore. The treatments that are out there are fantastic. So, but you got to get it done early. So if you get a COVID diagnosis, BAMMC.com. BAMMC.com. Christopher Lugo will help you out and get you what you need to get. We'll just put it that way. Having great success. So if that's an issue for you, and if you want to lose weight, or if you need some testosterone replacement therapy, you don't even know if you need it, go see Chris Lugo. They'll get your blood work done and get you a program that is specific just for you. Diet, exercise. Malcolm Jenkins talked to Rich Eisen on the Rich Eisen Show, and they were talking about why New Orleans was so successful and has been against the Bucks. And he basically said, we're built to beat the Bucks. We built our team to beat the Bucks. Quote, those 2 years you had myself matched up with Gronk, and it's all about matchups. And you and I talked about this last year. Brady's magic is about finding that matchup that is going to, at the right time and in the right place, he can exploit. Who can get separation? Who's your worst player? This was, if you ever read one of my favorite books of all time, Don Shula's The Winning Edge. And that was his philosophy to some degree. All the great coaches, I think, share this philosophy is, yes, do what you do well, but find the weakest link on the other team and just destroy it. Just destroy it. Because then what happens is teams try to adjust and they stop doing what they do best to make up for their weakest link. You see what adjustment they make, then you go after that. So it's like it just kind of builds on itself where, for the other team, it's like the tail wagging the dog. You're just chasing your tail the whole time and they're a step ahead of you and they're beating you. But if you have matchups across the board that you can win and there are no weak links, which is rare, that's good talent, then you can get the job done, especially against Brady. He said, these 2 years you had myself matched up with Gronk. That was a good matchup as well. CJ Gardner-Johnson in the slot, Antonio Brown or Chris Godwin. That's a great matchup. On the other side, we had Adebo or Janoris Jenkins going, and they're good against any third receiver. Tom Brady's whole game is to take advantage of matchup issues. There are none when the Saints play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And then you combine that with a really good pass rush. So he doesn't have time to go to the second and third, fourth reads. And he's certainly not, going to buy time by scrambling around. And that's why they've been so effective. And you look at the numbers against the Saints. Brady in the 4 regular season matchups. Okay, obviously, I'll go 0-4 as long as I win the one in the playoffs and win a Super Bowl. So we're good with that, right? But don't be blind to what's going on here in the other ones. Brady is 99 of 162, so 61%. That's a full, 8 percentage points below his normal, 68, 69%. 1,037 yards, 6 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, and also fumbled twice. So 10 turnovers in that time. So that's the thing. That's how the Saints do it. Now, again, you got to go find 3 great corners and a great safety who can match up with Gronk. Hard to do.
And that's why when I hear those numbers, and I've watched all 4 or 5 games they've had against them this year, I know a lot of people are always going to look at those games, and I understand that's our rival, and they're like, yeah, we're going to win those games. I'm not picking the Bucs to win those games. No. I'm just not. And I understand maybe the Bucs are a better team on paper and we're expecting them to be this great team and all that. But against the Saints, they're not even decent.
But Malcolm Jenkins is gone. Their corners aren't as good. They've got, they're bringing some in.
Okay, but they brought in Tyrann Mathieu and they brought in Marcus May.
Well, Tyrann Mathieu may be a little bit long in the tooth. There was a reason there was a lot of people jumping on him.
But you were also banging the drum for Tyrann Mathieu.
Well, we'll see. I'm not saying he's done.
He didn't have a great year last year. I will give you that.
He did not.
But I think Dennis Allen, if somebody's going to get the last drops out of him, it's going to be Dennis Allen.
Granted. But I'm just saying there's different personnel there now.
I get that. But Malcolm Jenkins was long in the tooth. He's retired now for a reason.
Yeah.
He showed up when he played the Bucs.
But again, it's like these older veteran players, They just he's got a way of handling Gronk where he doesn't get penalized. He slows him down. He's big enough. So he matches up well with him.
But Tyrann Mathieu didn't match up well against him in the Super Bowl either.
No.
On that hand as well. So we'll see. But
different personnel.
But, I've just never seen a team so neutralized, though, in one game to another. And it's like we have to stop looking at this like, oh, it's Tom Brady. He's going to figure it out. He's always going to figure something out.
No.
He ain't figured anything out. Nobody on that team has figured anything out. The Bucs haven't figured it out. Bruce Arians was asked 1,000,000 times, what's going on with the Saints? They don't have answers.
Yeah.
They just don't have answers.
But it's going to be a different coaching staff this year to some degree, obviously, with Sean Payton gone, it's different personnel.
It's not like the Saints offense, besides the one game on Monday night, it's not like the Saints offense is just running circles around the Bucs.
Exactly. It's the turnovers.
That Halloween game was so winnable for the Bucs.
Yeah, with 9-0.
You lost 9-0 the next one. I mean,
the next one,
yeah.
Yeah, that's just it's going to be different this year. And the Bucs, and I think the Bucs have figured it out too, that they have to have an answer for that. And you know what the answer is? More balance, a running game. Being able to run the ball when you have to run the ball.
Well, here's the
and against the Saints, if you're going to match up that well in the passing game, you got to be able to run the ball at them. They're not I don't think they're a great run stuffing team. But you have to be able to run the ball and force them out of those coverages so Brady can take advantage of them. And that's why I think this Bucs team can be better with more balance and a better running game. And to beat the Saints, that's going to help them.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the reasons they're emphasizing it, because it's not going to help them just beat the Saints. And believe me, everybody is looking at the Saints blueprint. They're looking at the same thing that the Saints are doing to beat Brady. So that's why you got to continue to evolve as a team. And this is a natural evolution that's going to make this team better.
Yeah.
So now I did want to talk about this, about things going wrong. So we're pretty much in agreement that Gronk's coming back. But what if he doesn't come back? What if he doesn't come back? And here's the other thing. I think Godwin's going to be back for the beginning of the year, because I just think he's an animal when it comes to rehab, stem cells, all that stuff. I think he's going to be back. But I also know that even when you're back playing, you're not. He's obviously a superstar player to me. His change of direction, his explosiveness, his power that he runs with, because he runs with great power. And people don't. I mean, you go look at he's one of the best yak guys in the game, and look at his yards after contact are unbelievable. He's a powerful, fast runner. Very much in the Deebo Samuel class for me. So that's physicality, and you got to have a sturdy knee to do that. And I think his knee is going to be sturdy enough, but it's that mental part of getting to that extra level that makes him great. So I don't think he's going to be the great Chris Godwin until maybe later in the season. And I think that's fair. I think that's fair to say. So if you don't have a 100% Godwin and you don't have Gronk, all right, that's a bad starting place for the Bucs.
And I believe,
and it's another reason why, by the way, you want to emphasize running the football.
And I believe too, by the way, and we talked about him last week, Russell Gage is also dealing with something too, right? I believe he's banged up a little bit.
Yeah, because he didn't practice.
Yeah.
He hasn't practiced in OTAs or anything.
Yeah, so you could throw him in there as well.
So let's just say, say that thing flares up. And now you're like, okay, now what do we do? Now you're looking at that Bucs team that was late in the season that could, was struggling to beat the Jets, right? When Antonio walks off the field, suddenly you look up and your number 1 and 2 receivers are not named Godwin and Gronk or Godwin and AB. And when the Bucs struggled, that's what they struggled with. They didn't have that. And even the Rams game, you go back to the Rams game, and basically Brady just started chucking it down the field to Evans and just making throws that normally he wouldn't make. They were risky throws because he knew he had to. He knew he had to do it. And that's not, you don't get rich doing that in the NFL. You don't, even Tom Brady. So this movement, and if you look at it, if you say, say the offensive line doesn't come together like I think it will. I think it's when you have, an all-pro at one tackle and a guy that's knocking on the door and had his best season, Donovan Smith, at the other tackle at a Pro Bowl level, and you have one of the best centers in the game. The two guards in there, if they're just competent, that's a good offensive line. That's a really good offensive line. And Rudolph is, he has all the attributes to be an inline tight end. He can block. He can catch passes. He's not explosive anymore. He's not going to get great separation, but, did he ever? But he's going to catch the ball with a good catch radius, big cat, 6'5", 265. Okay. And Cam Brate, by the way, has become an improved blocker. He's been better. So still, it ain't Gronk. And if Gronk doesn't come back, we know what the numbers are. 48 touchdowns, 0 interceptions in the red zone for Brady with Gronk on the field as opposed to without him on the field. The numbers, his quarterback rating drops almost 20 points without Gronk. So if Gronk doesn't play, Brady becomes, numbers tell us, a lot more mortal. Offensive line doesn't come together. You get a few injuries on defense. This is stuff that happens to every team every year. It's not in that schedule. You start getting some bad things happening. There's a distinct, I don't say distinct. There's a possibility that this season could go very wrong for the Buccaneers. Your thoughts?
Well, yeah, there's a lot of what ifs in your scenario. Don't get me wrong. I think the biggest thing that I don't even know if you even mentioned there. What if Tom Brady?
I can't do that. I'm tempting fate enough, and I'm not a superstition guy, but I'm not going to let those words pass through my lips. You know what we're talking about. And if that happens, forget it.
Let's cut the cord right away.
With that schedule? Yeah. So we'll just give it.
You don't want me to say it?
Don't do it.
Listen, I'm going to tell you right now. There's no such thing as superstition.
I agree with you.
There's no such thing as bad luck.
I ain't messing with that one. if the most catastrophic thing that could happen to the Bucks happens, see, we said it, but we didn't have to say it. It's over with that schedule. It's over. You're not even making the playoffs.
That's not what even I was talking about, though.
Okay.
I think you're going down the I word route, right?
Yeah.
I'm not.
Okay. You're telling me that he's not going to be good?
What if he's Peyton Manning 2016 or 2015?
Well, that had a lot to do with his health too.
Did it?
His
Peyton
arm,
Manning was pretty good in 2014.
I know, but his arm went dead. He took a couple of hits. His neck.
That's what I'm telling you.
Yeah. Well,
that
Brady.
to me is
well,
what
that's
would
injury.
be-
Then that would be injury.
Well, I wouldn't call that injury. I would just say, what if? I don't know. We keep hearing it. Father Time, this and that. 45.
Yeah.
What if? I mean, I hate to even say that.
Father
because
Time really is, but
I
his
hate to
arm
even
is
say
not
that
dead,
because the
though.
guy just played an MVP level last year, and
yeah.
I just can't see him. I can't see that. But since you want to go down the route of picking out what if could happen, I think you have to say it.
Of course, he's 46 years old, right? 45 years old.
You
Yeah.
have to say it. I mean, that to me, that's where you cut the cord. Is if this guy just can't play anymore. That's not happening.
I don't see that.
I don't see that happening.
No.
That's not happening. But just saying, if we're going to have the what if route of what could go wrong for the Bucks, I think it starts there, in my opinion. But injuries definitely, because last year the Bucks got cost by injuries, and Antonio Brown being an absolute fool.
Right.
Which, by the way, him being a fool has continued. If you have not seen this past weekend,
I saw. Every time I see him pass my Twitter feed, like I'm almost getting to the point of I'm just going to block him. Like I don't even want to see that crap.
He
anymore.
performed at Rolling Loud.
Yeah, I saw him jumping around on stage.
It's the
How's the ankle?
It's the outfit. It's the little dance that he did.
How bad was it?
What?
How bad was it?
The ankle?
The whole show.
I mean, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson was like trolling him on Twitter. He was like, "This man done lost his mind" or whatever, something like that.
So it wasn't upper echelon, Jay-Z.
No. It's about what you would find at what's that place called in Ybor? The Ritz.
The Ritz, yeah.
It's about what you'd find on there on like a Tuesday night or something
Ooh,
when it's
really?
slow.
Wow.
Yeah, in my opinion.
Entertainers always want to be athletes. Athletes want to be entertainers. No, you shouldn't do it.
But I watched it though, and I was like, I said this guy could be freaking preparing himself to go to camp in 2 days.
Yeah.
But instead, he's
making $25 million
he's
a
fooling
year
around at Rolling Loud with a career that's dead end. I'm still just bothered by that. I don't know. I should be moved on by it. But I'm so convinced that the things would have gone differently for the Bucks if he doesn't ever act out like a fool. I'm still gonna be bothered by that.
Honestly, it's not something we don't talk about it enough. When we talk about what went wrong last year, the bottom line is if Antonio Brown doesn't lose his mind, I mean,
you still go into that playoff game with Mike Evans and Antonio Brown and Gronk.
Yes. And Scott Reynolds and I, we've talked about this many times. If you had three of the four, you're good.
That's what I'm saying.
But
that's what I'm saying. Things went wrong for the Bucks in that receiving core, but
people still defend Antonio Brown in that deal.
Yeah, I don't want to.
Bruce Arians somehow, was the problem there.
Yeah.
Are you out of your mind?
Yeah. I don't want to go down the rabbit hole because I know it's been 8 months.
Stick up for his coach.
Yeah, all right, whatever. I know it's been 8 months ago, and it's
just saying
it should be water under the bridge. But I'm telling you, you don't get many chances to get that close to a Super Bowl. And when something goes wrong like that, to me, that started it, in my opinion. And I'm still like forever going to hold a grudge on that.
You should.
So whenever I see him pop across my timeline, it does piss me off.
I don't want to be that guy, but yeah, I do. Because he was a big reason we won the Super Bowl.
He was
a big reason we won the Super Bowl. But he's also a big reason the whole thing came apart last year. And we knew it eventually was going to happen. Because that's what you get with AB. But we got the Super Bowl. So
got the Super Bowl.
Then it kind of evens out. So, but we knew it was coming. You were tempting fate. And when you go back and think about it, well, I would say it would have been better if they'd have just cut him after the fake card incident that put everybody in mortal danger.
Still was something stupid.
It was stupid. People, I mean, again, don't get your card from your kitchen guy. You're going to do fake card like everybody else did last year in the NFL. Don't announce it and get it from your nutrition guy. Hey, can you get me a fake card? You're Antonio Brown. Spend some money. It's not that hard. Sorry. But yeah, we knew it was coming. But here's the beautiful thing about that. We ain't got to worry about this year. That is gone. And Russell Gage is no Antonio Brown in many ways,
yes,
unfortunately, but he's damn good. And you look at he is, and there's a lot of people that, especially in fantasy sports, loading up on
buying
some
stock.
Oh yeah. Because you'll be able to get him I don't know.
Well, he's going to be a riser when the drafts start coming off the board.
Yeah, I agree. No question about it, especially with the Godwin situation. But I mean that we don't talk enough about. But there's a chance that when you look at it from that situation, that I just that scenario I put out there. That's and again, it's the schedule. It's the schedule.
And it's
brutal.
The other thing, I'm just looking for things that I say could go wrong. Let's say Akeem Hicks still can't stay healthy, right? And let's say Logan Hall
entirely plausible.
And let's say Logan Hall has to play a lot of the snaps of Rakeem Nunez.
And he's just a rookie and he's swimming.
Okay.
Entirely
and
plausible.
Obviously doesn't play more than 50% of the snaps.
Right. Entirely plausible. All
Let's
this stuff
happens.
This is not weird crap happening. This is generally happening things in the NFL. Old guys get hurt. Old guys with a history of injuries like Akeem Hicks get hurt.
What if Levante David, who had an injury last year, one of his first, I believe, right?
Yep.
He's at that age now.
Yes, he is.
Where I kind of compare him to Bobby Wagner in a sense. Bobby Wagner last year was good, not great. It was the first step of decline for Bobby Wagner. Levante David is entering that same year as Bobby Wagner did.
And those guys, I'm going to tell you, for collision per game guys, linebackers, running backs, that's why running backs don't last very long.
Yes.
That's why linebackers don't last very long. And this is, he's at how many 38-year-old linebackers you see in this league? How many 35-year-old linebackers you see in this league? How many 35-year-old running backs you see in this league? Ain't many. You get some corners, you get some wide receivers, maybe a tight end or two. No running backs, very few running backs, very few linebackers.
Yeah, I think
there's too many collisions.
Yeah, so I think to summarize it all, the things that could go wrong for the Bucs, in my opinion, is you put a lot of these veterans on one team, and you're really hedging your bets on them all staying healthy and them all not having a decline all at once.
Right.
I think that's the most important thing for the Bucs. But regardless of it, to me, the staples of this team are still in place, and that's Tristan Wirfs, that's Mike Evans, that's Chris Godwin when he gets back healthy. That's Vita Vea. I think Devin White, Carlton Davis. At every main position, you still have a guy in this league that's a difference maker. And I think that's going to keep the Bucs in it regardless of what happens. And Jason Licht has shown, by the way, if something starts going south, he's going to address it pretty quickly.
Yeah.
He's not going to let something snowball on him here.
And at this point, they have some salary cap room that they're holding for Gronk. And if they really feel like he's not coming back, they got some room to do some stuff.
It's kind of why, I've kind of moved off the whole, there's some good veteran receivers out there who have not been signed. It's kind of why I'm really not in the camp of getting them anymore.
Yeah.
Like Julio Jones to me is a hamstring injury waiting to happen.
Yeah.
I don't see the upside in that. Will Fuller is a burner. He's a little bit younger, but that guy, I mean, he falls on his pinky and he's out for the entire season.
Right. Yep.
I can't deal with that. OBJ, we already know the ACL. He's too expensive, in my opinion, as well for this team. I don't know if I want to go down that route anymore. I've kind of moved off of that. If I'm adding somebody,
and they've got so many good young receivers.
Exactly. It's kind of crowded.
Yeah.
I told you I'm higher on Scotty Miller than some other people, but I really think this year, if he stays healthy, he's going to be
we've seen
back
him do
to
it.
what he was before.
Yeah. And
So
when he's been healthy, and remember the beginning of the 2020 season?
Yeah, he was awesome.
Yeah. He and Brady had great connection.
That's what I'm saying. So if the Bucs are going to do anything with that cap money, saying that Gronk doesn't come back, I'm bringing in a guy I know that can stay healthy and is a little bit younger and not one of these veterans that I'm really having to bet on right now.
And again, this is the part that is new and people aren't, we're talking about it, but I think is going to be a really big part of their success is the running game. They've got to be able to run the football. And by the way, if they can't run the football, it's going to be a problem. And I think with the way they're set up now, with the offensive line that they have, the threat of the pass, there should be no reason this team does not run the football well. There's no reason they're not going to see they're not going to see any 8-man boxes. And if they do, they're going to torch them with the pass game. They see 7-man. I mean, they're normally running.
You got to be able to wear teams down.
Yeah.
You got to wear teams down. I do subscribe to the theory of, you can probably win some games and maybe not run at all.
Right.
You probably could in today's NFL.
Of course you can.
But
when you're playing, who was it they played and they threw the first 17 times? I think it was the Falcons.
Yeah,
right? The Falcons could not stop the pass.
But
they had no corners, they had no pass rush. It was candy from a baby. Situations like that, throw the damn ball.
But here's a good example of it. Remember the game on Monday night between the Bills and Patriots where nobody could throw the ball?
Yeah.
The Patriots ran it on every play and won the game.
Yeah,
the Bills
sure
still were
did.
trying to pass it because they didn't trust their run game, and they
Right.
lost that game. The Bucs got beat by Washington because Washington just kept running the ball through their mouth, and they could
Yep.
not stop it, and the Bucs could not run the ball. So
Right.
I'm not saying you need a running game to win every single game, but you can lose some by not being able to stop the run or run the ball.
And here's the other thing. And this is part of the Arians offense is just pass heavy. It really is. And I think, with no disrespect to Bruce, I completely respect everything he brought to this team, changing the culture, winning the Super Bowl, all that. He doesn't get enough credit. But teams have to evolve.
Yeah.
Teams have to, and this is a natural evolution for this team to get better, to run the football, to take the pressure off of Brady. And the thing is, when you're not running it in games, you're not calling and you're not doing it as much in practice, you're not good at it. You're just not good at it. If you're not emphasizing it, you're not good at it.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be a philosophical change that's going to help this team. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. All right, quick break. When we come back, do want to get into some of the other stories around the NFL as camps open. We'll do some movie talk here in a little bit as well. And back to the Rays in case you missed some of the early stuff. So lots more to come. Stay with us. The world economy is in chaos, and mortgage rates are going to go higher in the next few months. Meanwhile, home values are up 24% in some neighborhoods of Tampa Bay. Do not miss this opportunity to refinance your home, get some much-needed cash to handle skyrocketing inflation, and fill up your car. Contact Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Even if you've recently refinanced, Scott can make the deal work because he charges no lender fees like the big boys do. He will also shop your loan around to dozens of lenders and get the best rates and terms. Let them compete for your business. The big banks charge huge lending fees. Customer service is simply a phone number with endless wait times. Scott is local and will personally take your call. Here's his cell phone number. Tell him JP said you could call. 813-294-7595. Scott's done over 3,000 loans, including many coaches and athletes. He will answer your calls and concerns and give you workable strategies to be smart with your money. Reduce your payments. It's not just what you make, it's what you keep. 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Military veterans, are you struggling with alcoholism or substance abuse? Is it taking a toll on your relationships and your work life? Are you having trouble focusing? Constantly anxious? Well, you may not be surprised to know that your fellow military vets have your six. Heroes Mile is a new concept in rehabilitation clinics, veterans helping veterans. At Heroes Mile, we staff our rehab center with fellow veterans who can understand what you're going through. Our mission is to help you heal from issues that only your fellow veterans can truly understand. Located just outside of DeLand, we offer a full range of inpatient and outpatient programs dealing with substance abuse, post-traumatic stress, and military sexual trauma. We choose to serve veterans because we know how complex these issues are. You could choose to fight the battle alone or win the war together. We are the community care provider with the VA and also accept most major insurance. At Heroes Mile Rehabilitation Center, we have your six. Go to heroesmile.com or call 888-VET-NOW-2. That's heroesmile.com or call 888-VET-NOW-2. Have you purchased a home in the last 10 years and the stucco is starting to come loose from the upstairs portion? Well, that can cause some serious damage that you can't see until it's too late. Is it becoming an eyesore? Have you contacted the builder and just can't get any relief? That's very common here in Florida. So call the law offices of Christopher Palermo. They can help you. Call 813-221-5636. That's 813-221-5636. He's recovered millions for his clients. The law offices of Christopher Palermo at PalermoPA.com. The health professionals at Bay Area Modern Medical Center want you to know it's time to commit to a new healthy lifestyle. It's literally a matter of life and death. 42% of Americans are considered obese, and being obese made you 3 times more likely to be hospitalized by COVID. So getting in shape is not just about looking better, it's about living much longer. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, they take a very different approach to primary care. It's personalized, preventative medicine. Christopher Lugo and his experienced staff are proactive in looking at your issues before they become a problem, encouraging a healthy lifestyle with proper diet, supplements, and exercise to optimize your active lifestyle. building up your immune system, not destroying it with poor nutrition and bad habits. So call for an appointment, maybe change your primary care and get on a journey back to full health and a happy life. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Let's rock.
This is FanStream Sports with JP.
All right, we are brought to you by the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Omerton Road. If you're in the market for one of those nice baller watches, they got a great selection there, whether it be a tag that you want, you're looking for a nice Rolly, Citizen, well, all those really cool watches. You can check them out. They got a great selection there at the Gold and Diamond Source. If you want to get something for your honey, everything in every budget is there. It's so easy. That's easy because we don't know what we're doing, guys. Right? You walk through the door, say, "Hey, I got $100. I want to get something for my wife. I got $50. I want to get something for my girlfriend. I got $1,000. Whatever it is, whatever you're looking for, they could you just tell them what you're looking for and give them just kind of an area, and they'll take it from there, and you'll be good to go. It's so easy. And if you are looking for a big ring, I don't have a lot of money right now, they will finance it 0% for 5 years. That could save you a ton of money. So for 20, 30, 40, $50, go see what you can get, and you'll be very, very pleasantly surprised. So go to the Gold and Diamond Source. You got any old jewelry, you want to cash that in, they'll do that as well. 3800 Omerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. All right, a couple other stories I want to get to. This one is monumental in my world. The NCAA, as of next month, is going to rubber stamp the recommendation by the Division I Council to eliminate the restriction against players transferring multiple times. That's right. So you're going to see guys transferring maybe every single year. And there's been some limits, obviously, and there still can be some limits in terms of compensation. And of course, if you get an NIL deal, you can take it to another school and maybe get a better NIL deal. That's what that offensive tackle from Georgia did this year at FSU. So I've always been for player empowerment, but again, we've got to get some type of control over this. I mean, if you're having kids transfer 4, 5, 6 times, it's lunacy. There has to be some kind of limit to it, and the times at which it is done. I mean, even the NFL, once you become a free agent, of course, you can do whatever the hell you want. But even the NFL, rookies are locked into contracts, and you could be traded. But how often are guys traded? I mean, you get locked into contract. You're drafted by a team. You're pretty much playing the first 4 or 5 years for that team. And now in college, you're looking at kids that in situations that are much more or less stable, many more teams, many more places to go, NIL money. Kids are going to be tempted to just transfer. I don't think that's great for the game. I really don't. Because it's destroyed college basketball, in my opinion. So I just don't think it's good for the game. But again, I don't see, and this is the reason they're doing it. They know their rules are not going to hold up in court. They'll get sued, and they'll win. They'll lose. So I understand why they're doing it, but again, it's kind of destroying the fabric that has been college football for so many years. And the other fact of the matter is there's no governing body that's looking over this. Now, I think the SEC has transfer rules, right? You can't transfer from one SEC school to another. At least they did for many years. I don't know what the conference rules are going to be or how they're going to be able to do that, because now you're just incentivizing guys to transfer out of your conference, which is not a great thing either.
And that's an SEC thing? Is that for football or all
for
sports?
many years for football, you couldn't transfer to another SEC school. You had to get the blessing of the coach to do that, and it was kind of I think it was a written rule, but it was more of an unwritten rule that you can't transfer from one place to another. Like they would give players a list, which I thought was so ridiculous. Nick Saban would say, "These are the places you could transfer if you want to go." Like what?
Well, here's my thing though. And I understand this is so secondary. It's probably foolish of me even bring it up, but these guys are college student athletes, correct? Right?
I would push back on student athletes.
They're just athletes in today's day and age.
Right.
But for a lot of them, football is not an option, though. And my point is for long term is what I'm saying. Especially at maybe some of the non-Power 5 schools or even some of the Power 5 schools, like if you're a lesser player. and you want to keep transferring so you can get some playing time. Like, is there a limit on a student, let's just say state by state, a regular student, of how often you can transfer schools?
No.
Like, if I wanted to, could I transfer to a different school every single 4 year of my
You could,
education?
but you'd run into issues with credits.
Oh, I know there is.
Yeah.
I mean, I did a transfer, and I don't recommend
Yeah.
anybody doing it unless you really wanted to, like I did.
Yeah.
Don't
I
recommend
mean, if
that
you're going from
process.
state school to state school, I think it's probably easy with the credits because it's all the same system. But if you're transferred from a state school to a private school,
Yeah.
they're going to have all different requirements for academics. It's
Yeah, my point
crazy.
is on that saying it's almost crazy. It's like if you're a student at a college, if you're a college student, it's like you can transfer wherever you so please. No problem, really.
Right.
Just get the credits matched up. But when you're an athlete and you're in college, now there's restrictions and you're being told where you can go, if you can go, when you can go. And I guess that tells you what college athletics are. It's like its own entity. So probably the word student athlete is probably a word that we probably shouldn't even use anymore, right? Based on all these transfer rules.
Yeah, I mean that there's going to be other problems to it, no doubt. But for the most part, you're going to see the blue chip players that we really care about, the really good ones who are getting NIL money, probably be able to go wherever they want, whenever they want. And what's going to be hard is this is the hardest part. You're seeing teams hire GMs now, like college programs are now hiring GMs to manage the roster because you have NIL money. You have to, look at players that are coming in, and you got recruits coming in and other recruits or guys that are already there saying, what the hell, you bringing in this guy? He's clearly taking my job. Yeah. I'm out of here. And there's.
And the other thing too, with the transferring, it's like, we always say, well, these guys just don't want to compete. It's always guys who are in a stacked, depth chart. And they just don't want to compete. But this cycle just told us you got players who are number one at their position at their schools. And they're just like, no, I just kind of want to go to a different place that's a little higher up on the totem pole.
Yeah.
Like Jordan Addison, for example, was the best receiver in college football this year at Pitt.
Yeah.
Who just won 11 games.
Yeah.
And he said, yeah, that's cool and all, but I'm going to go to USC now, who, by the way, just won like 5 games.
Yeah.
But no, it's USC. I'm going to go there.
Yeah. And that was because of NIL money too.
It's fascinating the times we're in.
Well, yeah, when you're a guy like that who has to play another year in college football, why not go someplace where, I'm going to LA, I'm going to USC.
Even though the likelihood is he's not going to win as many games as Pitt does.
Yeah, by the way, I think USC is over under on them is like 9.5.
I just don't understand where people are getting this from.
Pound the under.
You had a few players through the transfer portal, some recruits that aren't going to play in about 2 or 3 years.
Their defense is still awful.
Their trenches are awful. Like,
yeah.
I need somebody to explain that one to me. Lincoln Riley's just going to come in and fix every issue.
Yeah.
Sorry, did Oklahoma ever win anything?
The Jimmy and Joe's.
Yeah.
The college football.
Did Oklahoma ever win anything under Lincoln Riley? No.
They're
the poster boy for underachiever in the college football
They
playoff.
win some Big 12s, right?
Oh, that's cool.
Have some Heisman Trophy
What does
winners.
that matter? Yeah, all those Heisman quarterbacks, you couldn't win a college
win your
football playoff
conference.
game.
That's a thing. You
win
your
a college
conference.
football playoff game.
You win a Power
Got blown
5.
out in every college football playoff game.
True. We win a Power 5. I mean, that's something. But
Overrated coaches, man.
Yeah. But they gave him everything. They gave him everything.
No, literally everything.
Yeah. So I would definitely give a little bit of an under on that one if you want to win some. All right. I want to XFL. Anthony Beck, St. Louis.
Yes.
Our friend Anthony Beck.
Yeah.
Congratulations to you, my friend. Heading to St. Louis for the XFL. The XFL Tampa team is no more.
Nope.
So that whole thing, that we had, what did we have, like 4 games before COVID shut them down? Like I think 2 home games.
Yeah. The Vipers.
I went to one of them, the Vipers game. It was good. I enjoyed it. It was a good product.
I heard one of the people say, though, one of the reasons why they weren't selected back again was because of attendance. They had one of the lowest attendance rates.
I thought we did pretty good.
Well, apparently they didn't
compared
to all the other teams. But what doesn't make sense about that? And I don't know what I don't have the attendance numbers in front of me. This is what I saw is the other 2 cities that weren't selected to come back were Los Angeles and New York.
Yeah, they just get lost there.
You probably just get lost there.
Yeah.
And they added Las Vegas, Orlando, and
I never understood that. I mean, in their big markets, I mean, it's like, we go to a big market, we'll get a lot of people to come. No, you go to a big market, you got a lot of competition.
It's kind of why the XFL, the original XFL, 20
and there's no
years
competition
ago,
in Orlando.
Yeah, that's why the original XFL 20 years ago, they were the first professional sports team to go to Las Vegas.
Yeah.
And they were on fire in Las Vegas because everybody was like, oh my gosh, we got a pro sports team.
Yeah.
And it worked. So you got to go to markets like that. I think Orlando definitely works.
It's a great market
the
for that.
AAF Apollos,
Yeah.
that city was on fire for that team.
Yeah.
When they were playing there in the bounce house. So yeah, I think a market like Orlando works. St. Louis definitely works because they still are salty that their NFL team got taken away from them.
Yeah.
I don't know. Some of the other markets don't really make as much sense to me, but.
And my old buddy Terrell Buckley's coaching in Orlando.
Yeah, he's going to be Orlando
T-Buck?
coach.
Nice, nice.
I can't remember where Bob Stoops, Bob Stoops, I think, is the biggest name coach to be in this league, which he's going to be in most leagues that he's coaching in anyway. I'm trying to see which team he got assigned
Texas?
to.
Do they have a team in Texas still? Dallas? Arlington?
Yeah, he's going to be coaching the Arlington team, yeah.
Are they calling it the Arlington team? Or is it Dallas?
Darlington.
Okay, that's interesting. So XFL coming up at the end of the year, but no Tampa Bay. So if you have any Viper stuff, that's got to be worth some stuff.
Why would they have a Tampa team though? Like, why do we need a Tampa Bandits and a Tampa XFL team? We don't need two. We don't need three.
Yeah, are the Bandits going to play here next year in the USFL?
I don't think it's been decided yet. I think that they said they're going to go to other cities, but like to me, the natural evolution now is you had a successful season as a TV product. Believe it or not, the USFL was very successful. So they've been renewed for another season. I think the next thing now is get it in the markets and have like every game be like it was in Birmingham when they played in their own stadium. Because unless Birmingham was playing in Birmingham,
there was nobody there.
There was nobody there.
Yeah. So how many did they get? Birmingham. How much? What was their attendance? 25,000.
It had to have been close. It was always a pretty good. But I know, like as a TV, I think they averaged like over 1 million per game.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the USFL championship game, which was actually really good, I think it peaked at almost 5 million. The championship game, which that's an actually pretty good number, and that's like better than the NHL. It's better than the MLS.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it is.
It's crazy to think that as much as we talk about the NHL. I mean, obviously it's huge in this market.
It's on the rise in the States, but it just shows you that where it's at though. Still,
yeah, that's crazy. But it's a lot of it is gambling related, folks. And it just people like to gamble on football. That's all there is to it. I wanted to. I thought I retweeted the. Did you see the interview with the Phillies player and the guy?
Yeah, Castellano.
Yeah. See if you can find that audio. While I want to riff a little bit on these movies that I saw this weekend. So I went to see Thor, and it was kind of we were with the kids, and I'm like, okay, the kids want to see Thor, whatever. I'm not a big superhero guy. Just not.
I'm surprised you even got into the building there for that.
Yeah, I know. But go see a movie. It's hot outside. The kids will have fun. Whatever. Have a few laughs. Whatever. So absolutely bizarre. This movie. I mean, you want to talk about woke? Like, I mean, it's supposed to be a superhero movie. And I know it's supposed to be sarcastic, but some of it's so off the charts. Like right out of the gate, it's like, making fun of Christianity. Like right out of the gate. It's like you're sitting. I'm not going to be super spoiler here, but it's just so right out of the entire plot line is just anti-Christianity in a lot of different ways. A lot of LGBTQ stuff, which is fine, but it's just so overt. And I think for especially something that is supposed to be a kids movie, I mean, talking about orgies. And
but it's not a kids movie though.
Yeah, it's come on, like teenager movie.
No,
like young.
No,
it's not R. It's not R. It's what, PG-13.
I think you can kind of stretch the boundaries with PG-13 though.
I'm just saying it wasn't funny. It would seem like a total freaking like let's sexualize children. Let's talk about. I mean, it's just so overt and everything. It's like, and this is supposed to be a Disney product. I know this is such a boomer take, and I'm just like. I'm so over it. It's not funny. It's like, and you're overtly, okay, two guys, making a baby, it's like on and on and on. And then Russell Crowe plays a literally a feminized Zeus character. Like you get a feminized Zeus now. Like, I mean, it's so over the top.
I thought he was funny.
No, it wasn't funny at all. It wasn't funny at all. That's my biggest part about it. Like if it was funny, like have you ever seen The Birdcage? Like The Birdcage is a movie about it's a movie about homosexuality, and there's I mean it's freaking hilarious. It's really funny. It's got a lot of gay characters in it, and it's super funny. That's not even, none of that was funny. Like, it wasn't even good humor. It's terrible CGI. The acting is terrible. It's horribly woke.
First of all, this is such a non-informed Marvel take over here.
God, just awful.
I mean,
awful.
this is what they
like, comically bad.
Okay, well, I'll give you a more informed Marvel take.
All
so
right.
there was 2 Thor movies back in the day, Thor 1 and then Thor the Dark World.
Okay.
They're regarded as like 2 of the worst movies in the MCU.
Okay.
Because the Thor just did not work that they had. Then in the third Thor, they kind of lightened him up a little bit and introduced a little more of a comedic aspect to it. And then we had more of a comedic Thor to make it more entertaining, right?
Yeah.
This movie to me went too overboard with just the comedy.
First of all, he's not a comedic actor. He's not good.
I think he has a nice little like
Ryan
dry
Reynolds,
humor to him.
Deadpool. That's funny.
Okay.
That's really, really funny.
My problem with it
This
is
guy ain't funny.
my
at
problem
all.
with this movie is like there's so many moments where it's supposed to be so serious, but he's being so damn goofy.
Right. It's incongruent.
That's the only thing with the movie that kind of like bothered me, and that's why if I'm like trying to rank this in the MCU,
Horribly directed.
it's just right in the middle.
It's
Just
awful.
right in the middle.
Now, I also saw Nope. Now, I don't want to be a spoiler about this because this thing
That movie
is
looks
so many
freaky on the trailers.
It's kind of a parable, and it's kind of not making fun of Hollywood, but kind of the toxic messages that Hollywood teaches us. So this is not spoiler alert. It's when you look at it on that level, it's so good. It's so good. And the effects are amazing. The acting is amazing. The writing is incredible. Jordan Peele, I think, is the best director out there in terms of horror. And he's so freaking good. That movie is fantastic on so many levels. Don't go in there thinking like it's not like a straight out horror movie. It's a psychological thriller. It's a psychological thriller and it's got this whole alien thing going on. It will blow your mind. That is great cinematic. It's worth every freaking penny of your $20 recliner seat ticket.
Is this a rated R movie?
And I saw it in Dolby. And and by the way, it has some woke aspects to it, but well done and well presented.
What does that mean?
You'll see what I'm talking about. But it makes you think about it in a really meaningful way. So two summer movies, one god awful, one fantastic.
God awful.
Yeah.
So I take it now you won't be going back in to watch the MCU because you're scarred from.
No.
That's so sad. That's so sad of you to base your entire judgment on the MCU based off.
That is
close-minded.
Thunder. What was some of the other? I don't even know what the Marvel. It got Guardians of the Galaxy. I enjoyed.
Yeah,
I like.
That's one of the best.
Yeah, really good. I love those.
In fact, the first Captain America, the first Avengers,
because that dude's
Captain
funny.
America, that's a good start.
He's funny. What's his name? Helmsworth.
Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt's. No, I know he's funny.
Chris Hemsworth.
He's not funny.
I think his like accent makes him a little funny when he's like trying to be so dry with it. It's just a little overboard for me in this movie. Is it?
Yeah, totally overboard. Awful. All right, you have that audio?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Reporters, this is not how you do your job. And athletes, you can do better here as well. Confrontation in the clubhouse. PR guy standing by to make sure nothing gets out of hand. I love that part. PR guy coming in. Yeah. Do we have it?
Hear the blues there when we struck out and they played the game there?
No, man. I hear something, but it's not there.
It's buzzing.
It's buzzing, but it ain't popping up.
Stand by.
Stand by. We don't have much longer to get to the juice of this. And this is what Nick Castellano and reporter man wearing a mask too. I think it's so funny. Yeah, I don't think it's happening. All right, we'll get to it tomorrow. We'll set it up better tomorrow.
I guess we will because I'm just picking up buzz right now.
Yeah, we'll get to it tomorrow. Anything else you wanted to bring out? You were big on the uniforms today, which I thought was a very interesting conversation.
My last thing I'll make, and because just here as we have a little bit of time, of note, big news in the world of wrestling this week that I'll get in here. Vince McMahon has retired,
I saw that.
Has retired. A day that I never thought I'd see, that anybody thought they'd ever see. But obviously, with all the stuff going on with the scandals.
So that's like he's been, Dipping the pen in the company ink.
A little bit.
Yeah.
And story came out today. There's something about $14 million worth in payments that he was allegedly made to the company that he didn't. So they obviously went to other things. So I'm sure there's more heat on him coming here in the following days and weeks. But he's no longer in. Triple H is now taking creative responsibilities, and his daughter and Nick Khan, co-CEO.
So he's not going to be involved at all?
I have a sneaking suspicion he won't have the title anymore. He can say he's retired, but he's going to be in the shadows.
Yeah, he'll be directing everything.
I'll never believe it until he actually is like no longer on this.
He still owns it, right?
Huh?
He still owns it, right?
No, this is officially gone.
Well, he still owns it though. He still owns the shares. Like it's a public company, isn't it?
Yeah, I think he still owns his shares.
Yeah.
So until he's no longer on this earth, I think he's always going to have some kind of say with what's going on. But on the surface, for a lot of fans who have been fed up with the product, waiting for something new, this is a good thing. And it starts tonight with Monday Night Raw, which I will actually be very.
You think it'll be different in any way?
Well, the thing is so Triple H is one of the greatest of all time. That's his son-in-law. He's married to his daughter. He used to be in charge of creative for NXT, which was their development show.
Right.
And that show was better than Raw and SmackDown, the main shows, when he was running it. And everybody wanted him to be the natural successor. And now with Vince gone, now that seems to be happening. So everybody is like, they think it's going to be a positive thing. Their stock has gone up tremendously.
Really?
Since Vince has retired. Yes.
Wow. Interesting.
So tonight could be a new era here to get excited about.
Maybe. Well,
so I care about
what changes would you like to see made?
Well, they're going back to TV 14. That's a big thing. They used to be TV 14. They've been PG since 2008. And so the product's been less edgy, family friendly, just goofy. It's not something, it's kind of how
more
wrestling.
Nudity.
That's what,
more hot girls, more nudity.
I mean, I'm not going to say it. That could be you. But some of the things that people make fun of grown men watching wrestling has been created by the last 14 years of TV PG.
Right.
Than what it used to be when it was actually made for grown men to watch.
Oh, well.
So I'm actually excited about that.
Okay, good. All right. Kluber versus Austin Voth tonight as the Rays are at the Orioles. 7:05 start there. Hopefully they'll get their mojo back as they play a better team, right? All right. Good job, Nick. We will be back tomorrow with more fun and frivolity as we get closer to Bucks reporting on Wednesday. And we'll hopefully have some announcements on some of our regulars that will be joining us for football season. Have a great day, everybody.